Okay. Hi, good evening. We'll start with the map class. So first, I'll just try to tell you how we have designed this class. Okay. So mostly, if you have a look at the past question, யாராருக்கு தமிழ் தெரியாதவங்க யாராவது இருக்காங்களா இங்க? தமிழ் புரியாதுன்னு எதுவும் எல்லாத்துக்கும் புரியல. ஆன்லைன்ல யாராவது இருப்பாங்கன்னு தெரியலையே. Okay, if anyone online, if you don't understand Tamil, if someone's there, you can just call or text to our institute. I'll just continue the class completely with English. Okay, இப்போ இங்க எல்லாம் தமிழ் தெரியனாலும் கொஞ்சம் நம்ம தமிழ் சேர்த்து போலாம், அப்போ புரியறது ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக ஆரம்பிச்சிடும். Okay, சரி. So depending on the old question papers, what we find, how the map questions are asked is depending on something that is there in the current affair, they take conventional data inside. So if there is some area which if there is some area in the news, the probability for the question to be asked as a direct map question is very low. ஸோ எப்படி கேட்பாங்கன்னா, அது பக்கத்தில் அதை சுற்றி உள்ள கண்ட்ரிஸ் எது, அது லேண்ட்லாட் கண்ட்ரியா இல்லையா, அங்கே ஏதாவது லேக் இருக்கா. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் 2 years பேக் you would have seen there was a protest going on in Kodaikanal over pollution. So what they asked was whether that lake was a man-made lake or a நேச்சுரல் லேக். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி வந்து கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் இன்டீரியராக போயிட்டு கேட்பாங்க. ஸோ ஏதோ ஒரு ரீஜனில், ஒரு இந்தியாக்குள்ள ஏதோ ஒரு ரீஜன் ஏதோ ஒரு விஷயம் நடந்திருக்குன்னு சொன்னால், அந்த ரீஜன் வந்து டிராபிக் ஆஃப் கேன்சருக்கு நார்த்தில் இருக்கா, சவுத்தில் இருக்கா, இல்லை அங்கே ஏதாவது ஒரு சிட்டி இருந்து அங்கே வந்துட்டு இந்தியன் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் டைம் பாஸ் ஆகுதா, இந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ஜென்ரலாகவும் கேட்பாங்க. ஸோ ஹவு வி ஹாவ் டு ட்ரை இஸ், ஒன் திங் வி ஹாவ் டு நோ த கரண்ட் இஷ்யூ and the area which is concerned with that particular issue, and try to get the map details of that region. And then we have to keep in mind of the certain basic details, like all the states and their borders within India, and which are the states through which the tropic of cancer passes, and all such details. So normally how a map class is taken, or how a student studies a map class is, first they go for Indian map and then to the world map, because more questions come from Indian map. But நம்ம இப்போ எப்படி போகலாம் ட்ரை பண்ணலாம்னா, we'll start with the world issues and world map, and very specific issues of Indian map we'll go through that as well, and then we'll go to the India map. So probably I don't think we'll finish the class by today. We have collected data from at least 1.5 years from now. So that is how questions come from. So UPSC takes current affairs as 1.5 years from the exam, okay, before the exam. So we have collected data for 1.5 years. So probably we might not finish within one class. In that case, we'll have another class in the next coming Sunday as part 2. Okay, so mostly world issues, papa, 1 or 2 India issues, and in the last, maybe in the next class or something like that, என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா, லைக் ஓவரால் பேசிக் டேட்டா டு நோ ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி ஸ்டேட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா, ஹவு டு ரிமெம்பர் த பார்டர்ஸ், அண்ட் தென் ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி ரிவர், ஹவு டு ரிமெம்பர் ஆல் த tributaries. So the first concentration is on current affairs, and at last few slides for the general data, all the rivers and the tributaries, all the states and each and every continent, how to remember all the countries within the continent, all those details, and the last few, like maybe half an hour or something. Okay, now we'll start with the first issue. Okay, first one is about Tsugaru Strait. See, you can take notes as much as possible. Then later on, you can buy this slide as well. Okay, later on, if you want, not as a slide, as a PPT, you can buy it from the reception later on if you want. So try to take as much as possible, but don't rush to take the notes and miss the class. Okay. So why this is in news? Tsugaru Strait ஏன் நியூஸ்ல இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா, ரஷ்யா வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் ஒரு ஜாயிண்ட் பேட்ரோல் வந்து இங்க வந்து ஃபாலோ பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஓகே, இன் பசிபிக் ஓஷன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் there was a joint patrol between Russia and China. This is the news. This news is, you don't have to write the affair, news current affair, you don't have to write, just get the details, that's all. So the details of this strait, it is between Honshu and Hokkaido, which is in northern Japan. So it is between Honshu and Hokkaido in the northern Japan. That's one detail. And the strait, it actually connects Sea of Japan with the Pacific Ocean. You can see here, it connects Sea of Japan with the Pacific Ocean. Okay, and apart from this, this strait is also called as Strait of Sangar. So try to know this. It is also called as Strait of Sangar. Next one, எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு விஷயம், conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So there was a conflict between these two places, and there's a territorial dispute between these two regions for one mountain in between. That mountain called as Nagorno-Karabakh mountain. So the mountain which is in between these two places, there's a conflict for this. And the capital of Armenia, try to know it, Yerevan, capital of Armenia. Sometimes we know capitals are asked in current affair news. And this Armenia is also called as country of Trans-Caucasia. So what is Caucasia? Those people who are in the European region, those who have that wavy hair, fair skin, those people are called as Caucasian tribal people. Okay, so this place is called as Trans-Caucasia between, because from there Europe stops and Asia starts. So that is why this country is called as Trans-Caucasia. And moreover, this region, it is spreading nearby to the Caucasian mountains. Because ஏன் இந்த டீடைல்ஸ் எல்லாம் சொல்றோம்னா, நீங்க வந்து இப்போ 2020ல ஒரு கொஸ்டின் வந்திருக்கும், நீங்க பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. முதல்ல என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு சொன்னா, ஒரு நேஷனல் பார்க் இல்லைன்னா ஒரு வைல்ட் லைஃப் சென்ச்சுரி கொடுத்துட்டு எந்த ஸ்டேட்ல இருக்கு அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க. இப்போ என்ன 2020ல எப்படி கேட்டாங்க, லாஸ்ட் 3 or 4 years எப்படி கேட்கறாங்கன்னா, அதை பத்தின டீடைல் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கேட்டுட்டு அதை ஸோ விச் ஆர் வி ரெஃபரிங் அபவுட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இந்த பாராசிங் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இந்த டியர் பத்தி எல்லாம் கேட்டிருந்தாங்க. ஸோ யூ ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ஆர் கம்மிங் இன் மேப் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் நவடேஸ். ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு நோ சர்டன் டீடைல்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி பிளேஸ் which is in news. And Trans-Caucasia அப்படின்றது எந்தெந்த ரீஜனை குறிக்கும் அப்படின்னா, it's not there in the slide, write it down. Trans-Caucasia, it talks about Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. So these three places together, it is called as Trans-Caucasia. Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. Now the border countries of Armenia. So one thing, of course, definitely, you know, Azerbaijan will be the border. No doubt, we have Azerbaijan as the border. That is the conflict itself. Apart from this, Armenia borders include Turkey will be to the west. Okay, you can see Turkey will be to the west, and Georgia to the north. Georgia to the north. So how to remember this? So when there was a conflict between these two places, Georgia was one country. இதை வந்து சமாதானப்படுத்துறதுக்காக பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடத்துறதுக்காக ஜார்ஜியாவை இதில் வந்திருந்தாங்க. நீங்க நியூஸ் லைட்டா ஞாபகம் இருந்தா கூட இது நீங்க வந்து பார்த்தலாம். ஏன்னா ஜார்ஜியா அண்ட் ரஷ்யா, these were the two countries which came for negotiation with these two countries. Okay, but for Armenia, Georgia is a border, Russia is not a border. Try to remember this. And then apart from this, another border is Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. So this is, they are calling this as a republic, separate country. But on the other hand, the ரெண்டு கண்ட்ரீஸ்மே வந்துட்டு அவங்க பக்கம் எனக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ இப்போ வரைக்கும் பார்த்தா Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, this is also a border. And then எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்சது, on the eastern side you have Azerbaijan. Okay. And south also you have Iran and little bit of Azerbaijan. South you have center பா, இது வந்து இங்க மேப்ல இதுல காமிக்கல, இது வந்து ரெண்டு கண்ட்ரிக்கு சென்டர்ல நடுவுல இருக்கும், இந்த இடத்துல இருக்கும். ஓகே, இட்ஸ் தட் இஸ் த கான்ஃப்ளிக்ட் ஆக்சுவலி. இது யாருக்கு சொந்தம் அப்படின்றது தான் கான்ஃப்ளிக்டாவே இருக்கு. ஸோ அதனால Armenia and Azerbaijan, at the center you will have Nagorno-Karabakh mountain. It's a mountain actually. Okay, and one more thing, இதுல ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுக்க வேண்டியது, அசர்பைஜான் இஸ் அ பார்டர் டு த சவுத் ஆஃப் ஆர்மேனியான்னு கேட்டா எஸ் இட் இஸ் தேர். ஏன்னா நார்மலா என்ன ரைட் தான் இருக்கும், கண்டிப்பா சவுத் இல்லன்னு யாரா இருந்தாலும் யோசிப்போம், ஆனா சவுத்லயும் இருக்கும். இது ஜஸ்ட் ட்ரை டு நோட் இட் டவுன். Next is Senkaku Islands. For the past 4 years, it's there in the current affair. Throughout. Why? Because dispute between China, Taiwan, and Japan. All three countries have dispute. Each one is claiming Senkaku Islands வந்து எனக்கு தான் சொல்லி claim பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Okay, you can see here the Senkaku Islands is here. Sometimes if the question has to be a little bit difficult, they might ask like this, distance எதுல இருந்து இருக்குறதுல அதிகம்னு சொல்லிட்டு கேட்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. The longest distance is actually from Japan, and the shortest distance is from Taiwan or Chinese Taipei. Taiwan is just 170 kilometers. You don't need to know the numbers, just know shortest distance is from Taiwan, and the longest distance from Japan. Then from China it is 330 kilometers. Then try to know these names also. In Japan it is called Senkaku. China calls it as Yayu, and Taiwan calls it as Chayutai. So try to, but இது ஓரளவுக்கு ஒன்ஸ் நீங்க பார்த்திருந்தா in exam you can guess it because Senkaku everyone knows it is Japanese name always in conflict. ஏன்னா சென்காக்குன்னு அவங்க தான் பேரு, இப்போ அது மாறி சண்டை போட்டுருங்க. The other two names just from the seeing the names you can know. ஜாயு பார்த்தாலே சைனீஸ் நேம் தெரியும், T for Taiwan, T for Taiwan இருக்கும். So it's easy to remember. If you know it once, you're not going to forget it. You can try and remember. And this part, இதுதான் நார்மலா யூபிஎஸ்ல எப்பவுமே கேட்குற கொஸ்டின். வேர் இஸ் இட்? தட்ஸ் ஆல். ஈஸ்ட் சைனா சி ஆர் எல்லோ சி ஆர் சவுத் சைனா சி, இந்த மாதிரி கேட்கறதுக்கு நிறைய சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. இட் இஸ் ஆன் த ஈஸ்ட் சைனா சி. சிம்பிள் கொஸ்டின். நார்மலி யூபிஎஸ் அதிகமாக கேட்கறது இந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். அண்ட் கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்ட்டா, அதை விட தாண்டி கொஞ்சம் டிஃபிகல்ட்டா போக ஆரம்பிச்சா சரௌண்டிங் பார்டர்ஸ் கேட்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. சைனாக்கு ஈஸ்ட் we know that, no problem. To the west of Okinawa Island, to the west of Okinawa Island. So ஜப்பானுக்கு பார்க்க போனா to the west of Okinawa Island and north of Ryukyu Island. Here you will have Ryukyu Islands over here. So north of Ryukyu Islands. Try to மேப்பை நல்லா பார்த்துட்டு புரிஞ்சு அதை மட்டும் ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. நோட்ஸ் எடுக்கிறது பெருசாக ட்ரை பண்ணாதீங்க. ஏன்னா நோட்ஸ் நீ உங்களோட கரண்ட் அஃபேர் நோட்ஸ்லேயே கூட கடைசியில் இருக்கும். இது வந்துட்டு மேப்பை ரீகால் பண்ணுறதுக்கு தான். நோட்ஸில் கான்சென்ட்ரேட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா மேப் கண்ணில் பதியாது. ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் மவுண்ட் மெராப்பி. So this you have to know. It is also called as mountain of fire. It is in Indonesia. Mount Merapi is in Indonesia. It's called as mountain of fire. எங்க இருக்கு? டெஃபினெட்லி பசிபிக் ரிங் ஆஃப் ஃபயர் இந்தோனேஷியால இருக்கு. பேரே வந்துட்டு மவுண்டன் ஆஃப் ஃபயர்னு சொல்லலாம். கண்டிப்பா போ. இட் இஸ் ஆன் த பசிபிக் ரிங் ஆஃப் ஃபயர். நம்ம இந்த வாட் இஸ் பசிபிக் ரிங் ஆஃப் ஃபயர் இந்த மாதிரி டீடைல்ஸ்குள்ள போக மாட்டோம். ஏன்னா இன்னொன்று, இப்போ நான் கரண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் த கரண்ட் அஃபேர் ஹெட்டிங் அவ்வளோதான் நம்ம கிளாஸ்ல பேசுவோம். கரண்ட் அஃபேர் பத்தி பேச போறது. ஏன்னா தட் வந்து கரண்ட் அஃபேர் கிளாஸஸ்ல பார்த்துக்க வேண்டியது, கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ஸ் தெரிய வேண்டியது. ஸோ மேப் எப்படி பார்க்க போறோம்? ஏன்னா அப்படி பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சோம்னு சொன்னா 2 வீக்ஸ் பார்த்தாலும் முடியாது. ஸோ மேப்பை மட்டும் நம்ம வந்து 1 to 1.5 years மேப்பை கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். கரண்ட் அஃபேர் ஜஸ்ட் டைட்டில் மட்டும், வை இட் வாஸ் இன் நியூஸ், தட்ஸ் ஆல். பிகாஸ் அட் த மோஸ்ட் யூபிஎஸ்சி இப்படி தான் போகும். ரீசென்ட்லி இட் வாஸ் இன் நியூஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். இல்லைன்னா எதனால நியூஸ்ல இருந்துச்சுன்னு சொல்லி கேட்டுட்டு மேப் கொஸ்டின் கேட்கலாம். அவ்வளவுதான் மேக்ஸிமம் போவாங்க. Okay, this is just to see the Pacific Ring of Fire. So the region where plates collide and the ocean plate subsidizes. This because of that new volcanoes are created, new magmas created there. So this region has lot of volcanoes and earthquakes. நம்மளுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச விஷயம். Just try to see this and that அதை தாண்டி இதுல பெருசா ஒன்று மேப் கொஸ்டின் வர சான்ஸ் இல்லை. Next one, Kilauea Volcano. It's nuisance because the volcano erupted recently. Kilauea Volcano. See here, it is here in the Hawaiian region. It belongs to USA. It is in the Hawaiian region. Hawaii, one of the favorite tourist regions, particularly for people in USA and America and all those countries. Hawaii is an important tourist region, and there a volcano has erupted. Name is Kilauea Volcano. And if you know Hawaii, if you know Hawaii, you can somehow remember which ocean it belongs to. It's to the west of USA. We know that. Since it's to the west of USA, it's definitely on the Pacific Ocean. And USA is in the northern hemisphere, so it is the North Pacific Ocean. அதெல்லாம் நீங்க படிக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. Just know it is nearby Hawaii. That's all. And deeper specific information, it is south of Honolulu. It is south of Honolulu, which also belongs to USA. And maybe in a statement they could sometimes ask, this is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. So very few volcanoes are like that. It is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. So this is for a statement map question. And suppose if the question goes a little bit deeper, sometimes mostly we will remember it as it is to the west of USA. ஏன்னா யூஎஸ்ஏ சேர்ந்தது நிறைய ஹாலிவுட் மூவிஸ்ல ஹவாய் பத்தி பேசிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. நம்ம உடனே வெக்கேஷன் வரப்போது ஹவாய் போலாமெல்லாம் கேட்டுட்டுலாம் இருப்பாங்க. அதான் நம்மளுக்கு ஞாபகத்துல இருக்கும். ஆக்சுவலி இட் இஸ் டு த west of Mexico, southern part of Mexico. So see the map and try to remember. Hawaii is to the west of Mexico, southern part of Mexico. Okay. So here is the island. You can see Honolulu there. Little bit south and east to Honolulu, you have this Hawaiian Islands. Next one, another volcano. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
It is present in the southeast of Honolulu.
UPSC will never ask such questions in prelims. Okay, see, one more thing for this map class, it will be really useful for people who have history or geography as an optional. 50 marks unga kaila, it's done. If you know, see, 1.5 year map தாண்டி ஒரு question எங்க இருந்து வரப்போறதே இல்ல. 50 marks is in your hand if you have geography or history as your optional. அந்த லெவல்ல போகும்போது கூட அப்படி வந்து எக்ஸாக்ட்லி நார்த் ஈஸ்ட் சவுத் ஈஸ்ட் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்துட்டு ஐலண்ட்ஸ் லெவல்ல கேட்கவே மாட்டாங்க. அட் த மோஸ்ட் தே கேன் ஆஸ்க் to the west of which country, Mexico or USA, or it belongs to which country, it belongs to, politically it belongs to USA, it is nearby Honolulu. That's the level they will ask. So how to know this? By revising the old question papers. Keep you don't even have to answer, keep reading at the old question papers. You will know how UPSC will ask the questions, so that you prepare like that. Okay. You're definitely correct in that case. That's what, but 100% they will never ask such question. They will never ask. Okay. Islands la avlo close question கேட்க prelims பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் மேப் क्वेश्चन எல்லாம் ரொம்ப டைரக்டா just like that இருக்கும். Paracel Islands எந்த ஓஷன்ல இருக்கு, இந்த லெவலுக்கு தான் அவங்க கேக்குறாங்க. நம்ம தான் கொஞ்சம் சேஃப்டிக்கு தான் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணிட்டு போறோம். மீறி வேணா எந்த ஓஷன்ல இருக்கு, எந்த கண்ட்ரிக்கு பக்கத்துல இருக்கு, நார்தர்ன் ஹெமிஸ்பியரா சதர்ன் ஹெமிஸ்பியரா, இவ்வளவுதான் கேட்பாங்க. அதை தாண்டி ரொம்ப கேட்க மாட்டாங்க. unless it is specifically there in the current affair. இப்போ ஹானலூலுக்கும் இந்த ஹவாய் ஐலாண்டுக்கும் ஏதோ ஒரு வார் நடந்துட்டு இருக்குது, அந்த மாதிரி இருந்தால் தான் அவ்வளோ டீப்பாக போவாங்க. அதர் தேன் தட் தே நெவர் ஆர் சச் கொஸ்டின்ஸ். டோன்ட் வரி அண்ட் டோன்ட் ப்ரிப்பேர் லைக் தட் ஆல்சோ. அப்படி ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணாலும் நம்மளுக்கு கஷ்டமாக ஆரம்பிச்சிடும். ஓகே. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், மவுண்ட் நியாரா காங்கோ. ஸோ அப்போ எங்கே இருக்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு? பேரை வச்சு டெஸ்ட் பேர்லேயே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா காங்கோன்னு இருக்கு. ஸோ இட் இஸ் இன் காங்கோ and it is a stratovolcano. Very rarely they ask such questions, what type of volcano it is, but try to remember it is a stratovolcano. Stratovolcano na it has been erupting for frequently for a very long time. So நிறைய stratus layers form ஆகி இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி இருந்தா stratovolcano. And important information is you have a national park called as Virunga National Park. Whenever there's an earthquake or a volcano or any natural disaster, and if you have a national park there, it is really important. So Virunga National Park is in Congo. Try to remember. See, it is almost at the border of Rwanda. It doesn't touch Rwanda, of course. It is in Congo, but it's almost near to Rwanda. Easy topic. Suez Canal, almost every one of us know. So why is it in news? Because அந்த ஒரு ஷிப் ஒன்று போய் குறுக்க மாறிச்சு நின்றுச்சு, ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? அந்த கிரீன் சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு பெரிய ஷிப் போய் குறுக்க நின்றுச்சு, அப்புறம் திரும்ப ரிசீவ்லாம் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் இன் நியூஸ். ஸோ வேர் இஸ் இட்? இன் ஈஜிப்ட். இந்த மாதிரி சிம்பிள் கொஸ்டின் நம்ம விழுவோம் சில டைம்ஸ்ல. அது ஈஜிப்ட்ல தான் இருக்குமோ, இல்லை ஒருவேளை வேற ஏதாவது கண்ட்ரி பார்டர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்குமோ, சம்டைம்ஸ் இட் இஸ் ஒன்லி இன் ஈஜிப்ட், அந்த மாதிரிலாம் கொடுப்பாங்க. வி வில் கெட் கன்ஃபியூஸ். இட் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் இன் ஈஜிப்ட். நோ அதர் கண்ட்ரி ஷேர்ஸ் த பனாமா கேனல். And one more information is the largest importer or the biggest importer through the Suez Canal is India. The largest importer through the Suez Canal is India. So this also is a question. Try to remember it. So just basic map contents. It connects the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, and it connects Africa and Asia. இது மல்டிபிள் டைம்ஸ் கேட்ட கொஸ்டின். நிறைய எக்ஸாம்ஸ்ல யூபிஎஸ்சி, டிஎன்பிஎஸ்சி நிறைய இடத்துல கேட்ட கொஸ்டின். ஆன் த மெரைன் சைட் இட் கனெக்ட்ஸ் மெடிட்டரேனியன் சி அண்ட் ரெட் சி. ஆன் த கான்டினென்ட் சைட் இட் கனெக்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப்ரிக்கா அண்ட் ஏஷியா டைரக்ட்லி. Next one, Polavaram project. It is there in the current affairs for the past 4 years, and still it is there, and it will be there for at least 2 to 3 years. Okay, it is going to be, it's a huge project. There are a lot of conflicts as well. It's going to be there, so you have to know this. and it is on the river Godavari. Okay, though it connects two rivers, the project is on the river Godavari and it is in Andhra Pradesh. There will be an option for Telangana also. We'll get confused whether bifurcation appuram maarichand. It is in Andhra Pradesh. It is on the river Godavari, and what it is trying to do is it is going to transfer water from Godavari to Krishna through the right channel or the right canal. So from Godavari to Krishna, and that all that they'll ask, don't ask, they will not ask question from there, because they know, everyone knows that question will come actually from here. So it spreads to which country, sorry, which states? We know it moves from Godavari to Krishna, that we know. So states, other states which share this is Chhattisgarh and Odisha, because they also are going to get benefited from this. இதுல வந்து ஒரு ரெண்டு ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு நிறைய ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்லாம் வந்துருச்சு, லெட்டர்லாம் எழுதிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டுக்குலாம் போயிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, எல்லாம் நியூஸ்ல பார்த்துருப்போம். ஸோ ரிமெம்பர், Chhattisgarh and Odisha are also participants of this போலவரம் ப்ராஜெக்ட். ஸோ அப்போ கொஸ்டின் மோஸ்ட்லி இந்த ஸ்லைட்ல இருந்து கொஸ்டின் வரக்கான சான்சஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 20% இருக்கலாம். மிச்ச 80% எங்க இருந்து வரும்னா, இப்போ ரெண்டு ரிவர்ஸ் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க, கோதாவரி அண்ட் கிருஷ்ணா. கோதாவரியோட ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ் எது? கோதாவரி இஸ் த செகண்ட் லார்ஜஸ்ட் ரிவர், த லார்ஜஸ்ட் ரிவர் இந்த பெனின்சுலா. இந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின் தான் மேப் கொஸ்டின் வரதுக்கு சான்சஸ் அதிகம். ஸோ வில் ட்ரை டு see that one by one. So Godavari, its basin is spread across, or Godavari and its tributaries together. இதை வந்து ரைபீரியன் ஸ்டேட்ஸ்னு கேட்பாங்க சம்டைம்ஸ். பேசின் ஸ்ப்ரெட் அக்ராஸ்ன்னு சொல்லி கேட்பாங்க, இந்த மாதிரி டிஃப்ரெண்ட் வேர்ட்ஸ்ல கேட்பாங்க. ஸோ இட் கம்ஸ் அக்ராஸ் ஆந்திர பிரதேஷ், சத்தீஸ்கர், சத்தீஸ்கர், மகாராஷ்டிரா, தெலுங்கானா, மத்திய பிரதேஷ், ஒடிஷா, கர்நாடகா, பாண்டிச்சேரி, so many states. 8 states it flows across. So Godavari flows across 8 states. அதுல இன்னொரு விஷயம், அது கோதாவரி கவுண்ட் பண்ணி பாருங்க, 8 லெட்டர்ஸ் வரும். ஸோ 8 லெட்டர் வரும், 8 ஸ்டேட்ல ஃப்ளோ ஆகும். ஸோ நீங்க எந்த ஸ்டேட்டுன்னு வரக்க சான்ஸ் இருந்தாலும், ஆனால் 8 ஸ்டேட்ல போகுதுன்றதை மறந்துடாதீங்க. ஸோ எப்படி ட்ரை பண்ணியாச்சு ஆன்சர் கொண்டுட்டு வந்துடலாம். ஓரளவுக்கு இந்த மேப் எல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் மைண்ட்ல வைக்க ட்ரை பண்ணீங்கன்னா யூ கேன் பிரிங் இட். ஓகே, கோஇன்சிடென்ஸ் நம்மளுக்கு சப்போர்ட்டிவா நடந்திருக்கு. ஓகே, tributaries of Godavari, Pravara, Manjira and Manir are the right bank tributaries. Pravara, see, நம்ம லிஸ்ட் பார்க்கும்போது இன்னும் நிறைய பார்ப்போம் இல்லையா? ஆக்சுவலா அதெல்லாம் என்னன்னா இந்த ரிவர்ஸோட ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ் இருக்கும், அதையும் சேர்த்து கோதாவரி ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ் தான் நம்ம வந்து கவுண்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. சரிங்களா? ஸோ பிரவாரா, மஞ்சிரா அண்ட் மானேர். ஸோ தீஸ் 3 ஆர் ரைட் பேங்க் ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ். இந்த லெஃப்ட் யூ ஹேவ் பூர்ணா, பிரணீதா, இந்திராவதி. இட்ஸ் ஈஸி டு ரிமெம்பர் தீஸ் 3. த லாஸ்ட் ஒன் a little bit difficult to remember is only Sabari. We'll see how. மிச்சம் 3 ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்க ரொம்ப ஈஸி ஆக்சுவலா. ஓகே, we'll go to the next slide. ஏன்னா இதனால தான் ஈஸி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறது. சி, கோதாவரி ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ் பிரணீதா, பூர்ணா, இந்திரா, தட்ஸ் ஆல். தீஸ் ஆர் த லெஃப்ட் ட்ரிபியூட்டரிஸ். ஓகே, இதை மறக்க சான்ஸ் இல்லை. எல்லாருமே ஃபேமஸான ஹீரோயின்ஸ் கிட்டத்தட்ட, அதனால மறக்காதீங்க. ஓகே, அண்ட் சம் டீடைல்ஸ் அப்படின்னா, பிரணீதா இஸ் த லார்ஜஸ்ட் tributary for Godavari. It is not the longest, it is the largest tributary, because Manjira is the longest. Okay, Manjira is the longest tributary, Pranitha is the largest tributary of Godavari, and Indravati is the second largest tributary. And these 3 rivers, இதையும் வந்து நம்ம வந்து படிக்கும் போது என்ன சொல்ல, கோதாவரியோட tributaries தான் படிப்போம். Actually they are the tributaries of Pranitha. So that is why the Pranitha river itself is like almost like as big as Godavari. It's a huge river. Okay, and it has tributaries as Penganga, Varda, Vainganga, and these rivers will be actually counted as tributaries of Godavari. Okay, see, actually there are clues and stories to remember each and every tributary for each and every river, but Ganga, Godavari, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Kaveri, these 3 things we mostly know. Very rarely 1 or 2 tributaries which are rarely seen, that's where we'll fall. But other than that, these 3 rivers we will know. It is the other rivers which we might get trapped. So that is what we must try and learn. There are clues for each and every river, how to remember stories and all that. That we'll keep it to the last class. Those things which are in the current affairs, I'll do it now. But basic rivers and the tributaries we'll keep it for the last part of the class. Okay, next one, Haiti. எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும். எப்படி வந்து ஹவாய் ஐலண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியுமோ அதே மாதிரி ஹைட்டியும் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு ஐலண்ட் கிட்டத்தட்ட. So why is it in? Is because frequently there are earthquakes here. If Hawaii is in North America, Haiti is in South America. So இது வரைக்கும் ஹைட்டி பத்தி அவ்வளவா ஞாபகம் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா from now onwards don't forget Haiti. If Hawaii is for North America, Haiti is for South America. And this is in the island of Hispaniola. So question could come from here. It is an island of Hispaniola in the Greater Antilles region. Greater Antilles na that region where this Andes mountain is around there. So that's the Greater Antilles region சொல்லுவோம். And this whole this Haiti is part of an archipelago in Caribbean Sea. Okay, it belongs to the archipelago in Caribbean Sea. And the borders. Favorite question for UPSC, borders. So Haiti is to the east of Cuba. It's to the east of Cuba and Jamaica, Caribbean islands, small islands here. So to the east of Jamaica and to the east of Cuba, we can see Haiti. And apart from that, it is to the south of Bahamas. See, it is to the south of Bahamas. And apart from that, some other islands are also the Turks Islands, Caicos Islands. See, you might think இந்த சின்ன சின்ன ஐலாண்ட்ஸ்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணுமான்னு யோசிச்சிருந்திருப்பீங்க. ப்ரீவியஸ் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எடுத்து பாருங்க, நிறைய இடத்துல வந்து ஐலாண்ட்ஸை கேட்டிருந்திருப்பாங்க. அது எந்த ஓஷன்ல இருக்குது, எந்த ஐலாண்டுக்கு பக்கத்துல இருக்குது, இது வந்து ரிப்பீட்டட் கொஸ்டின். யூ ஹேவ் டு நோ திஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ இட்ஸ் டு த ரைட் ஆஃப் கியூபா, டு த சவுத் ஆஃப் பஹாமாஸ். ஸோ as far as land is seen, ஸோ ஒய் நம்ம ஏன் ஹைட்டி இவ்வளோ நேரம் ஐலாண்டுன்னு சொல்லி கூப்பிடல, இட்ஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த ஐலாண்ட் அப்படின்னு தான் சொன்னோம். நம்ம வந்து ஐலாண்டுன்னு சொல்ல, ஏன்னா லேண்ட் பவுண்டரி இருக்கும். இட் இஸ் டு த இட் ஃபார்ம்ஸ் அ பவுண்டரி வித் த லேண்ட் தட் இஸ் டு த Dominion Republic. It has land boundary as Dominion Republic. Try to remember this. It has a land boundary. Haiti has a land boundary. No, this is not the control. These are Central American countries. They are mostly republics. Okay. And here in this Haiti, you have a strait which is called as Windward Passage. This 10-degree channel, 9-degree channel, 8-degree channel, 36th degree channel, இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வந்திருக்கும். ரெண்டு இடத்துக்கு, ரெண்டு கண்ட்ரீஸ்க்கு நடுவில் ஏதோ ஒரு சேனல் இருக்கு, ஒரு பேசேஜ் இருக்குன்னா யூபிஎஸ்சிக்கு ஃபேவரட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இந்த மாதிரி. ஸோ Windward Passage, it is actually between Haiti and Cuba. நம்ம சொன்னோம் இல்லையா, கியூபால இருந்து ரைட் சைடில் ஹைட்டி இருக்கு, நடுவில் இருக்கிற அந்த சேனலுக்கு பேரு or that strait is called as Windward Passage. And one more thing, Haiti is on the intersection of two tectonic plates, Caribbean plate and Pacific plate. Okay, it's on the intersection of two plates, so that is why it is prone to volcanoes and earthquakes. Another river, okay, Ken Betwa river linking project. This year we see, apart, even if I have missed something in the slide about the rivers, try to know about each and every river in India, because we have this interlinking of rivers project which was announced in this budget. So every river's tributaries, the rivers basin, the riparian states, you have to know them. Okay, so here water from Ken is sent to water to Betwa. From Ken we are trying to transfer the water to Betwa. Okay, so from water is going to move from Madhya Pradesh in Ken to Betwa in Uttar Pradesh. So this is also important. It is not within the same state, from Madhya Pradesh to Uttar Pradesh. And origin of rivers, so whenever a news the river is there in current affairs, they mostly ask where the river originates. So Ken originates in Kaimur range and Betwa originates from the Vindhyan mountains. And one more thing, both originate in Madhya Pradesh. Though the transfer of water is going to happen from Madhya Pradesh to Uttar Pradesh, but both the rivers originate in Madhya Pradesh. Ken is in Kaimur range, this one is in Vindhyan range, Betwa. And Ken and Betwa both are tributaries of Yamuna. We all know this. Other tributaries of Yamuna, yeah, Chambal, Sindh, Ken. Here in between we'll have this Betwa. இதுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு CSK குள்ள இது வரல, அதனால தனியா போட்டேன். So CSK ன்றது க்ளூ இருக்கு. Okay. This is just to view. If you are going to watch it in online and all, just to view and have a good idea. அதுக்காக மட்டும் தான் map. Nothing to be explained here. You can see the thing going from here. See here, from Ken over here it moves to Betwa. An important point here is it is nearby the Panna sanctuary. So that is one thing you have to know and remember. Sorry, yeah. So it's not submerging. சில ஏரியாஸ் வந்து ப்ராப்ளம் ஆகலாம்னு சொல்லி, that is why they're protesting, but they say that no, there's no chance for that to happen. That is why it is in news. பண்ணா பத்தி அதுல நியூஸ்ல இருக்கு ஆக்சுவலா. அதனால தான் இது நியூஸ். அதனால தான் நம்ம பண்ணா வந்து தனியா பார்த்து வைக்கிறோம். பண்ணா நம்ம அந்த ரிசர்வ் பத்தி தனியாவே பார்ப்போம் கூட மேப் கிளாஸ்லயே. ஓகேங்களா? Okay, so this is one thing you have to know. Panna Tiger Reserve, it is there in the Vindhyan Mountains. Panna Tiger Reserve, it is in the Vindhyan Mountains. Because generally நம்ம யோசிச்சு வச்சதுக்கு எப்படி யோசிச்சு வச்சிருப்போம், ஆரவல்லிஸ் ராஜஸ்தான் இருக்குது, அப்படி கொஞ்சம் கீழே வந்து விந்தியன்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஆனா மத்திய பிரதேஷ் சென்டர்ல இருக்கு. நம்ம யோசிச்சு வச்சது போற இப்படி தான் இருக்கும். சடன்லி வந்துட்டு விந்தியான் மவுண்டன்ஸ்ல தான் வந்துட்டு பன்னா டைகர் ரிசர்வ் இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா நம்ம நோன்னு நிறைய டைம் போட்டுருவோம். இட்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி ஆன் த விந்தியன் மவுண்டன்ஸ். ஓகே, and it is a UNESCO biosphere reserve. And this last one not very much important because ஏதா ரொம்ப endemic ஏதா நியூஸ்ல இருந்தா தான் வந்து mostly animals கேட்பாங்க. But it's always, if a national park is there in the news, we have to know what animals are there. Okay, and the special animal here is gharials and the mugger crocodile. Other things it is there everywhere. Gharials and mugger crocodiles are very much specific to this Panna tiger reserve. Try to remember. Endemic இல்ல, ஆனா they are very special to this Panna tiger reserve. Gharials are found in very few national parks and places. So gharial and mugger crocodile, try to remember these two animals. This map, this is later on when you sit and slowly watch the PPT and all, when we have the PDF and all, just try to remember the tiger reserves and the important national parks. Sometimes they ask questions like, where is Panna and where is Naura Dehi? Arrange it from north to south, arrange it from west to east. இந்த மாதிரி questions நிறைய டைம் வந்திருக்கு. டைகர்ஸ், அதுவும் மத்திய பிரதேஷ் மாதிரி ஸ்டேட்ஸ்ல நிறைய டைகர் ரிசர்வ்ஸ் அண்ட் நிறைய நேஷனல் பார்க்ஸ் இருக்கும்போது அரேஞ்ச் இட் ஃப்ரம் வெஸ்ட் டு ஈஸ்ட், அரேஞ்ச் இட் ஃப்ரம் நார்த் டு சவுத், இந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் நிறைய டைம் கேட்டிருந்திருக்காங்க. ஸோ திஸ் மேப், when you get the like PPT, I'm sorry, what is that, PDF, sit and slowly arrange it. And இதெல்லாம் நம்ம கிளாஸ்ல நடத்தணும், ரொம்ப டைம் தான் போகும். You have to sit and work it out. And எதெல்லாம் லெஃப்ட் டு ரைட் மூவ் ஆகுது, எது வந்து ரைட் நார்த் டு சவுத் வந்துட்டு என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்றதெல்லாம், all these things, try to know these things. Okay, definitely you have to know. Next one, Baihitan Dam. So mostly எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு டேம், வேர்ல்டு ஃபுல்லா எல்லாருக்குமே தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு டேம் இது. ஓகே, ஏன்னா மொத்த உலகத்துக்கே த்ரெட்டை கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. லோவர் ஸ்டேட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து ஃப்ளட்ல அழிஞ்சு போயிரும் போல இருக்கு. சைனா இந்த மாதிரி இவ்வளவு பெரிய டேம் எல்லாம் எதுக்கு கட்டி வச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க? ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் they are going to use water as a geopolitical tool அப்படிலாம் சொல்லி நிறைய நியூஸ்ல வந்துட்டு இருக்கு பாருங்க. அதுல ஒரு 2 டேம் பத்தி பேசல. ஒரு டேம் தான் Baihitan Dam. So it is on the Jinsha River. So they might ask, it is on the, ஏன்னா நமக்கு சைனானா டக்குன்னு யாங்சி இந்த மாதிரி சில ரிவர்ஸ் மட்டும் ஞாபகம் வரும். So we might easily fall on the trap putting it as Yangtze River. It is on the Jinsha River, which is actually the tributary of Yangtze River. And Yangtze River is the longest river in Asia. The second line is just a small information. You don't need that. No one is going to ask you which province it comes in and all. But this one, it is better to know. It is on the southern region or northern part of China. It is on the southwestern part of China. This one you have to know. It is on the southwestern part of China. Which part of China it comes under is southwest. This you have to know. And some of the details of this dam, sometimes statement questions கேட்டு map question கேட்க chance இருக்கு. It's the 4th largest dam in the world. World's 2nd biggest hydropower dam. This is a Akka map question. This river Yangtze, it is not shared by any other country. It flows completely in China. This is like among these three, this is the important information for map. Current affairs for as a map question, this is the most important one. Yangtze River flows entirely in China. Because important we are saying that China could use these dams as a geopolitical tool. But in this case, when a river is flowing entirely in one country, where is the possibility of using that dam as a geopolitical tool? So it is a debatable point. So that is why it can be an important point for the question. Next, the 3 islands in Sri Lanka: Naini Tivu, Delft Tivu, and the Analai Tivu. In the moonlight, they are building renewable energy stations there. So it is in the Parkway. These islands are in the Parkway. And we'll see one by one. The common information, it is near the Jaffna Peninsula. The common information is it is near the Jaffna Peninsula, and we have to see specifically which island is where. That information everyone knows. Park State, it connects India and Sri Lanka. And then this region, this Jaffna region, it is just 50 kilometers from Tamil Nadu coast. Why? This is the current affair here. So it is so close by to India. So will it cause any trouble? Because with China's influence there, is it going to cause any trouble? So that is the current affair in the news. See, Delft is here. Mandai is here. We'll see in another map in much more detail. See here, the 3 islands. Naini Tivu, it is nearby to Jaffna Peninsula, just 2 kilometers from Jaffna Peninsula. And the next one, Analai Tivu, it is 25 kilometers from Jaffna Peninsula. So these both are over here, near Jaffna. That's not a problem. The last one, Nedundivu, Delft is also called as Nedundivu. In your name, you have to know. Delft is also called as Nedundivu, and it is not near Jaffna, but it is over here in the western part of Sri Lanka, near a place called Puttalam. So this might be specific, so you have to know. And one more extra information, where is the Hambantota port? It is extremely to the south of Sri Lanka. This also try to know this. Yeah. No, Sri Lankan government, they don't do it. They just fund in very low interest amount. They'll give funds, and maybe when they are not able to pay it back, they'll take advantage over that. இது இப்போ ஹம்பன் தோட்டல் அதான் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. ஸோ இதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு இடத்துல பண்ணுவாங்களோன்ற ஒரு ஸ்கெப்டிக்கல் நேச்சர் இருக்கு. அதனால தான் இது நியூஸ்ல. ஓகேங்களா? Okay, so this Hambantota International Port, it is connecting the Middle East and East Asia. So this Hambantota port, it is why this port is kept here is to reach the oil from the Middle East directly to China. It will come here to Hambantota. From here it will go directly to China. அதுக்காகவே தான் Hambantota port fund பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. Okay, so you have to know what it connects actually. And one information, Delft, it's also called as Nedundivu. Next one, Sangay volcano. It is in Ecuador. Sangay volcano is in Ecuador, and capital of Ecuador is Quito. Capital of Ecuador is Quito. அதை பாருங்க, இந்த குயிட்டோன்னு எழுதி ஒரு ஈய போட்ட ஈக்குவேட்டர் மாதிரி இருக்கும். திரும்பவும் பேரை வச்சு ஈஸியாக ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். நீங்கள் தனியாக படிக்காதீங்க, அதை பார்த்துருக்கு மறுபடியும் ஈக்குவேட்டர் மாதிரியே ஃபார்ம் ஆகிற மாதிரியே இருக்கும். ஒரு ஈ மட்டும் தான் மிஸ்ஸிங். And something specific, why it is so unique is it is the highest active volcano in the world, and again it is a stratovolcano. It is the highest active volcano in the world. Try to remember this. See here, the height is somewhere around 17,465 feet. Okay, next one, since we have information about the Sangay volcano, we also have to know about the Sangay National Park. It's also enclosed Ecuador on the Andes mountains. Ecuador Andes mountains la. And one extra information, we know, definitely we'll know, equator passes through the Ecuador. Okay, and this information you have to know. Andes mountain, it passes through which of the countries? Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina. Andes mountain passes through all these countries, and such questions have very well been asked in UPSC. ஒரு மவுண்டன் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்குன்னா எந்தெந்த கண்ட்ரி வழியா பாஸ் ஆகுது, ஒரு ரிவர் எந்தெந்த ஸ்டேட்ஸ் வழியா பாஸ் ஆகுது, இட்ஸ் ஃபேமஸ் கொஸ்டின். ஓகே, next is Whitsun Reef. Whitsun Reef, it's in South China Sea. See here, it is very much near to the Spratly Islands, so that is why it is in conflict. Spratly Islands, again it is in conflict between the China, Taiwan, Vietnam. All these people are claiming the same place, Spratly Islands. Okay, but Spratly Islands actually others say it never falls under China, but China வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த whole region வந்து 9 line கம்ப்ளீட்டா கவர் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. According to the 9 line, they say the Spratly Islands also belong to them. This white reef is in New South Wales. And some details about this reef, it is V-shaped. In Philippines, they call it with a different name, Juan Felipe Reef. In Philippines, they call it with a different name. Try to know that. And one more thing, it is the longest reef of the Union Banks. Union Banks, this, all these islands together, the set of islands together, it will be called as Union Banks. So in that set of Union Banks, this island is, this reef is the longest reef. So Union Banks, it is an atoll. Atoll na, a small land piece, a mountain or something, which is surrounded by coral reefs. So that is called atolls. This is one of atolls. So you can see this whole thing. This is the Union Bank. So all these islands together will be called this reef. It's a set of reefs. See, Collins Reef, Hughes Reef, Saint Cove Island. All these. Here you have this Whitsun Reef. We are talking about the Western Reef here. There are other reefs also. See, Lansdowne Reef, Johnson South Reef. Any of these could be asked and where it is present. Simply it is in the South China Sea. இந்த விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும் உங்களுக்கு. பெருசா தெரியட்டி கூட Spratly Islands பக்கத்துல இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். Next, Taiwan Strait, between China and Taiwan, also called as Formosa Strait. And here you have a mountain called Chungyang Shangmo. In Taiwan, you have a mountain called Chungyang Shangmo, and they could ask where is this mountain present, or what is Chungyang Shangmo. And the mari other questions kekla. It is a mountain range at the center of Taiwan. You have to know this. So in this Taiwan Strait, there are some important ports, Amoy in China and Kaohsiung in Taiwan. So two ports are there in this strait itself. So some details about Taiwan. எப்போவுமே நியூஸ்ல இருக்கறனால try to, its capital is called Taipei. Everyone knows that. The next to information, it has Japan to the north and Philippines to the south. To the south of Taiwan, you have Philippines. Next one, Zojila Tunnel. So where is Zojila Pass? Yeah, Jammu Kashmir. Okay, so how we remember that? We have many passes, right? We'll have a separate slide to remember all the passes. For now, I'll tell this. We are from Tamil Nadu. We are the start then. We are the starting here. So what is, if start is A, what is end? Z. Z for Zojila. Joji இருந்தாங்க இன்னொன்னு என்ன இருக்கணும்? Joji Bajina சொல்லுவோம்ல, Bujila Pass அங்க தான் இருக்கும். Okay, if Zojila Pass is there, Bujila Pass is also there. Najmaya, it's there. It's in Jammu Kashmir. Okay, Zojila Pass and Burjila Pass both are in Jammu Kashmir. And one more thing, why it is in news? Because it is having the India's longest road tunnel. See, the information will keep changing. மொத்தம் 3 இருக்கு இந்த மாதிரி, longest, highest, tallest, இந்த மாதிரி 3 இருக்கு இந்த ரீஜன்ல மட்டுமே. So try to remember this. It has the India's longest road tunnel. And at the same time, it has the Asia's longest bidirectional tunnel. It's the Asia's longest tunnel. If we see it as bidirectional, it is Asia's longest. Simply as a tunnel, it is India's longest. Both are there. This is another information. Indian geography in Pata, what it connects. It connects Srinagar, Dras, Kargil, and Leh. It connects all these 4 important places. Capital is Srinagar. Kargil is in a very important region. So both these regions are connected by this tunnel. Okay, and we know Zojila Pass is in Jammu Kashmir. That we know. If you have to know more interior detail, it is in the Kargil district of Ladakh. So see here, though we know it is in Jammu Kashmir, now if the question is asked, you have to be very careful with the options. It is actually Ladakh, because now Ladakh is a separate union territory now. It's not the same with Jammu Kashmir. So it is actually Zojila Pass is in Ladakh. And the roadway which connects these 4 places, Srinagar, Kargil, and Leh, NH1. I hope you know, asking this national highway numbers. It's very famous for UPSC, and it doesn't mean that we have to learn all the national highways. Just what is there in the current affair, we have to try and remember. So while you see the PDF and all, see this one picture. It has almost all the details that we spoke. The next one, a very similar one, Chenab Bridge. Next one is Chenab Bridge. This is also in Jammu Kashmir. Zojila Tunnel is in Ladakh, but actually it connects both Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. Zojila Pass is in Ladakh, but this Chenab Bridge, it is in Jammu Kashmir. It is the world's highest railway bridge. Zojila Tunnel, we said it is Asia's longest bidirectional tunnel. This one, it is the world's highest railway bridge. So I hope you know, when this was built, everywhere around the news, social media, எல்லாரும் ரொம்ப பெருமையா இத பத்தி பிக்சர்லாம் போட்டுலாம் பேசிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. So the capacity of our engineers, how strong it is. They have built the highest bridge in the entire world. Okay. And this one, maybe it's not a map question, but it's a current affair statement. It's part of Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla link project. It is a part of the rail link project. The Chenab Bridge. Here this one, which range it belongs to? Zaskar range, because there are certain map questions which we have which belong to the Karakoram range. So here this one, it belongs to the Zaskar range. And which region? In the Lahul Spiti region. Where is Spiti? We have the Spiti Pass, Spiti Valley, Himachal Pradesh, Spiti Valley. Okay. And the tunnel was in the Zojila Pass. Here this bridge is nearby the Baralacha Pass. The Baralacha Pass. And I'm sorry, next one, sorry. This one, I hope almost everyone knows. Chandra and Baga together forms the Chenab River. Yeah, actually it forms Chandra Baga, which later will be called as Chenab. Okay, so this is a known information. Another similar information. We have totally 3. So one is Chisume Demchok Road. Chisume Demchok Road. It is the world's highest motorable road. So we have the world's highest railway track or the railway bridge exactly, and we also have the world's highest motorable road. Both is here in Jammu Kashmir, and it is part of Project Himank. It's part of Project Himank. Because Chennai Bridge, we said it's a part of project of Udhampur, Srinagar, Baramulla project. This is part of project Himang. And it passes through the Umingla Pass. It passes through. So we have seen 3 passes until now. One is Zojila Pass, one is Baralacha Pass, and this one is the highest motorable road. It passes through Umingla Pass. Yeah. Vehicles can move. That is called motorable road. Yeah. Road and chinna pathway kuda irukalaamla. This actually it is motorable, like containers move, lorries can move, buses can move. So that is why everything can go. That is why it is motorable road. And it is the specific purposes. If you see here, it is just to the west of line of actual control. எதுக்குன்னு சொன்னா when during the times of emergency, if it is a crucial situation, to move the troops, that is the real reason. That is why when we built this road, China started to protest immediately. They started to send their troops into India. There was fight between Indian soldiers and Chinese soldiers. இதெல்லாம் நடந்துச்சுல, இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் காரணம் வந்துட்டு இந்த ரோடு தான். So it is there were certain people who even said that India actually they agitated Chinese by building this road, but at the same time India responded from here saying that we will build the road, nothing is going to stop us, we will continue to build the road. Why? Because this is so crucial. During the Indo-China war, one crucial thing that happened to us, which led to our loss, was we were not able to move the troops immediately in that difficult terrain. So this is to avoid such a thing in future. If you have to move the troops, we can move it immediately in a very short time. அதுக்காகவே இந்த ரோடு கட்டப்பட்டுச்சு. இந்த ரோடு கட்டினதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் நிறைய பிரச்சனை எல்லாம் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு. ஓகேங்களா? It is just to the west of, see here, line of actual control. அங்க பக்கத்துலயே கட்டி வச்சிருப்பாங்க ரோட. ஓகே. Yeah. Sorry. Which one? No. It is here. It is they are saying from the Chusul Valley region la vandirukku சொல்லிருக்காங்க அவ்வளவுதான். But the place name is Chisumle. Small difference is there. It is the Chusul Valley region. The Chusul Valley region la there was lot of conflict. ஒருத்தர் கை கல்ல தூக்கில அடிச்சிட்டாங்க, மோதிக்கிட்டாங்க, சண்டை போட்டுக்கிட்டாங்கன்னு சொல்லி எல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டல. All this happened in this Chusul Valley. Here is where all that 5 finger concept ன்னு சொல்லி ஒன்னு இருக்கும் பாத்திருக்கீங்களா region. அதெல்லாம் இந்த Chusul Valley region தான். Okay. Next one, Kamchatka Peninsula. Next one is Kamchatka Peninsula. This region, it is a peninsula belonging to, see, you can see Russia, this region. This one part, this is called as Kamchatka Peninsula. You can see it is between Sea of Okhotsk and Pacific Ocean. Sea of Okhotsk and Pacific Ocean. And in the north side, on the top north side, you have Bering Sea. And then you have something called as Commander Islands nearby. This could be asked sometimes. Where is Commander Islands? Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, America chance. It's nearby Russia, in the North Pacific Ocean. Which part of Pacific Ocean? Western part of Pacific Ocean in that case. Okay, to the western part of Pacific Ocean have something called as Commander Islands, and this is a volcano. Here you have a volcano, Kamchatka volcano, which is a UNESCO heritage site as well. Next one, Kinnaur hydroelectric power project. Kinnaur hydroelectric project. It is on the Sutlej River in Himachal Pradesh. It is on the Sutlej River in Himachal Pradesh. So that means we have to know the details about Sutlej River. Okay. So probably this could be a current affair question sometimes, but map question will be from the Sutlej River. See here, it is here, Kinnaur in the region. Okay. Here it is near. Here you have Lahore and Spiti. This is famous place Kullu. a very famous place for tourism. To the east of Kulu, you have this Kinnor district. Here you have, they are starting this hydroelectric power station, but people are protesting against this because it's going to clear a lot of forest, and they say it could be a threat there. ஏதாவது இந்த மாதிரி earthquake வரலாம், அந்த மாதிரி threat எல்லாம் சொல்லி they are protesting against it. So that is why it is in news. And what type of dam it's going to be? It's going to be a concrete gravity dam. And Satluj River, it arises from Manasarovar and Rakas lakes. Both lakes will be nearby, right? Both pakkam pakkama rendu lake irukum. Manasarovar will be a freshwater lake, Rakas lake will be a saltwater lake, and it arises from both these places together from Tibet. And this Tibet, it is under the control of China now. The place where this Satluj River arises, it is under the control of China. Next one, we'll see all those tributaries of Satluj, all those things in the rivers part. எல்லாத்தையும் சேர்த்து பார்த்தறலாம் மொத்தமா. Okay. Next one is Iceberg A76, like most famous, எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு விஷயம், which is called as the Doomsday Glacier. It's melting, it's going to cause a lot of problem in the world. Many islands are going to submerge. இப்பலாம் நிறைய சொல்லியிருந்திருப்பாங்கல்ல. This one, Iceberg A76, it is the world's largest iceberg in Antarctica. And it is from the part of Rane ice shelf. It is from the part of Rane ice shelf. And where it is now, it has been cut down from the Antarctica. Actually, it was within Antarctica. Now it has been cut down from Antarctica, and it is floating as an iceberg in the Weddell Sea. The sea is important here. It is floating in the Weddell Sea now. Now it is the largest iceberg in the world. It is the largest iceberg in the world. And then you have this Rani ice shelf, which is again the largest floating ice sheet. It was the largest glacier. When it broke off, it became the largest iceberg. And the region where that iceberg stays, there you have the largest ice sheet. Everything is largest there, and that sheet is called as Rane ice shelf. See here, this is the iceberg. Here you have the Weddell Sea. And which part it is? It is to the northwest part of Antarctica. It could be asked. It is to the almost to the northwest part of Antarctica. Next one, Parasail Island. Like, it was already once asked in UPSC prelims. It's also called as Shiksha Islands in Chinese. And it is located in the South China Sea. Very contested region. Here you can see Paracel Islands. இது வந்து mostly எப்படி கேட்பாங்கன்னு சொன்னா அரேஞ்ச் பண்ண சொல்லி கேட்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. You have Paracel. To the south of that you have Spratly Islands. And from west to east again, Paracel is to the west. You have Spratly to the east. And if you see Paracel Islands, it is much nearer to Vietnam. But if you see Spratly Islands, it is much nearer to Philippines. Okay, see, that is why Philippines is actually claiming it. You can see this line here. Philippines is claiming for this Spratly Islands. And Paracel Islands, Vietnam, since it is very near to Vietnam, Vietnam is claiming it. But எல்லாத்தையும் சேர்த்து வச்சு China is claiming it, saying that it's under the 9- line. Okay, அவங்க அப்படியே கொஞ்ச நாள் போனா அப்படியே பிலிப்பைன்ஸை கிளைம் பண்ணிரும், அப்படியே ஆஸ்திரேலியாவை கிளைம் பண்ணிரும், எல்லாம் அப்படியே போயிட்டே இருக்க வேண்டியதான். It's all about the one who has the bigger stick. There's nothing called as rule, regulation, peace, agreement, strategy. There's nothing. If you see throughout the world history, right, the one who's powerful will go and take the one who is weak. That's what is happening everywhere. That's what is happening today in Russia also. That the same thing is happening. Ukraine is so small. Whatever the conflict might be, whatever the problem is, Will Russia directly go and attack USA? No, he's more powerful, or at least he's equal, or he's little bit lesser. ஏதோ ஒன்ல இருக்குது. But Ukraine மட்டும் இருக்குது. என்ன வேணா காரணம் சொல்ல, you can go and capture, you can beat. That is what is happening throughout the history. Okay, here also the same thing. They are trying to get the whole region, saying that என்ன ரீசன் சொல்லி கேட்டோம்னா, அது ஒரு 1000 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி நாங்க அப்படிதான் ரூல் பண்றோம்னு சொல்லி இது பேப்பர் பழைய துணியில எடுத்து காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இப்ப எங்கட டாக்குமெண்ட் இதுதான் டாக்குமெண்ட்னு காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க. So simply because you can't do it. Now, why are you doing this? Because I can't do this. That's all. You can't ask anything. They are powerful, so they'll do it. That's what is happening. So next one. So Parasail Island, sometimes they could ask as a question. It is nearer to China or nearer to Russia, because that is the conflict. It's actually almost equidistant from both the places. So the problem is very difficult to solve now. And then it has a place called Dragon Hole, which is the deepest underwater sinkhole in the world. We know what is sinkhole, right? Sinkhole, where do we learn about sinkhole? Karst topography patti padikkom, sinkhole padikkom. In here you have the underwater sinkhole, which is the largest in the entire world, and it's called as Dragon Hole. Because it is near to China, you call it as Dragon Hole. So probably they will want to ask such a question, but if you are lucky and if they ask, don't miss it. It is in the South China Sea. The name Dragon is there. Okay. Next one, Thwaites Glacier. So it is melting. So Thwaites Glacier, again it is in Antarctica. So the A76 that we saw, it was somewhere over here to the western part. This Thwaites, it's in the southwestern part. That is the difference. Okay. Here, it was near the Weddell Sea. This is near the Amundsen Sea. That's the difference. So mostly question could come like, where is Amundsen Sea? That's all. So we will நம்ம நிறைய படிச்சுட்டு அவங்க சிம்பிளா போயிட்டு எந்த கடல்ல இருக்கு எந்த இடத்துல இருக்கு அப்படிதான் question கேக்குறாங்க. But only if we learn to this extent, we might be able to answer that. Okay. So it's near the Amundsen Sea, and it is melting because warm water is being supplied to that region. Since warm water is being supplied, it is melting. That is the news here. And this glacier is also called as the Doomsday Glacier. I'm really sorry, I said that A76 is the Doomsday Glacier. It's actually Thwaites Glacier is called as the Doomsday Glacier. That is the largest glacier, but this one is called as the Doomsday Glacier. Okay, and there is something called as grounding line. There's a concept called grounding line. So this is the bottom part of a glacier, a line which is the bottom part of the glacier, which continues as the glacier or which starts to slowly melt. And this line is the indicator or mark which shows how fast the glacier is going to melt or whether it's going to stay on. So it is the bottom part below the glacier, a line below the glacier. Here is where the ice transitions between just resting or floating. Okay, it will if it is too strong, it will just keep resting, or if it slowly starts to melt, it will start to float. That line is called as grounding line. Next is Migino Island. Okay, it is an island in Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria, we know, right, with the largest lake in the world. So in this lake, you have a small island called as Migingo Island. நமக்கு இதே மாதிரி island தெரியுமா, riverine island, நமக்கு நல்லா தெரிஞ்சது Majulia Island, which is called as the largest riverine island in the world. Okay, but it keeps changing. Sometimes they say it's the second largest, but as of now, what I checked today, it is the largest riverine island in the world. Okay, so this particular island, it is at the border of Uganda and Kenya. It shares. It's at the border of Uganda and Kenya. Migingo Island is at Uganda and Kenya. Try to note this. So why this is in news? Because it is between Uganda and Kenya. Territorial dispute between Uganda and Kenya. It is for whom? Okay. And about Lake Victoria, you can see it is the largest lake in Africa. In Africa, it is the largest lake, but as a tropical lake, it is the largest lake in the world. It is the largest tropical lake in the world. But as far as Africa is concerned, it is the largest lake. Next is False Point Island. False Point Island. So why it is in news? Because they are trying to build lighthouses to make this region as a tourism hub. Okay, so it is in Orissa. So why they are wanting to build lighthouses here? Because this region is famous for tourism because of the crocodiles in the shores here. There are a lot of crocodiles here, so that is why it is very famous. Where it has lot of mangrove vegetation, completely mangrove vegetation here, and in that mangrove vegetation there are a lot of crocodiles, and it's an adventurous tourist place. Okay, that's why they're trying to build lighthouses. So the other lighthouses which are already there are already some 4 lighthouses here. They are Paradip, Gopalpur, Chandrabhaga and Puri. So this one, be careful, because since it is there in the current affair, they could ask where you have this Chandrabhaga wetland region, or where there this lighthouses there. Mostly we will write what? Chenab pakam povom namba anga dhaan Chandrabhaga irukku, but actually it is here in Orissa. Okay, see, Kendrapara is here, Puri is here. In these regions already lighthouses have been established. Next one about the Persian Gulf. Why it is in news? Because Indian Navy ship INS Trikand has been deployed there. So both in Persian Gulf and in Gulf of Oman, in both these places, both in Gulf of Oman and in Persian Gulf, so what we have to know is simply the information about this Persian Gulf. It is between Arabian Peninsula and the Iran. You have this whole Arabian Peninsula, and it is between Arabian Peninsula and you have the Arabian Peninsula here, the complete Arabian Peninsula and Iran. So it splits these two regions. And apart from that, you can see you have the Strait of Hormuz here. Strait of Hormuz separates Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. What's happening? I touched something wrong. Again, one more thing, Strait of Hormuz, it separates Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. On the land side, it splits Iran and UAE. Okay, try to note that. This region, it belongs to UAE and little bit of Oman. So whatever is asked, both can fall. It splits Iran and Oman or Iran and UAE. Okay, both will be sharing there. And probably in questions, as far as I've seen, they've shown only UAE. They've never asked about Oman. Okay. Next one. It has 8 border countries. Persian Gulf, it has 8 border countries. Gulf Cooperation Council countries, it's very easy to remember. So if this is considered as a boot, it will look like a boot. இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா லேஸ் மாதிரி ஒரு 4 country இருக்கும். 4 லேஸ் போட்டோம்னா முடிஞ்சிடும். But this Gulf, Persian Gulf, it includes certain countries beyond this Gulf region also. So try to remember, it includes even Iraq. See that Iraq is somewhere over here, but it includes Persian Gulf bordered countries, because this Persian Gulf, a small stream part is entering here. So we say it includes Iraq also. Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the rest of these Gulf countries. United UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, so these are the lace countries. You have Kuwait, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and the Oman. These are the Gulf countries. Because if this look like a boot, அப்படியே லேஸ் கட்டினா எத்தனை லேஸ் அப்படியே பார்த்துட்டே வந்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா அப்படி பார்த்து ஞாபகம் வைங்க. ஓகே, so it was there in this map. You can see here you have the Euphrates, you have the Tigris. Both these are getting into this Persian Gulf. So the rivers of Persian Gulf are Tigris, Euphrates, and one more, Karun. And Tigris and Euphrates, they originate in Turkey. So that is why in this river valley civilization, when we talk about Mesopotamian civilization, we say it was because of Tigris and Euphrates, and the Mesopotamian civilization was there in this Turkey and Iraq region. Okay, and Tigris meets Euphrates in Iraq. River Karun, it's completely in Iran. It meets in Iran. So the Strait of Hormuz, we already saw the details, right? And one more thing, why the Strait of Hormuz is always in new some sort of conflict is there, because this is the only opening to the open ocean. இது இந்த வழியா மட்டும் தான் போனாதான் ஓப்பன் ஓஷனுக்கு, அரேபியன் சி, இந்தியன் ஓஷனுக்கு போய் சேர முடியும். It is the connection to, it is connection for the Gulf region to the Indian Ocean. So that is why it's always in conflict. And it is called one of the most strategically important choke points. Okay, Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important choke points. Next is Safania oil field. Safania oil field. It belongs to Saudi Arabia on the Persian Gulf. It is again on the Persian Gulf. Why it is important? Because it is the world's largest offshore oil field. It belongs to Saudi Arabia and it is the world's largest offshore oil fields. Next, Shakhtud Dam. Shakhtud Dam. So this is between India and Afghanistan. Already India helped Afghanistan build a dam. Pere? Salma Dam. Yeah, it is Salma Dam. So now this next one is Shakhtud Dam. And today we are seeing this class where something else also happened, because India provided a certain humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. Today we saw that who's that? One of the Taliban leaders shouted out Jai Hind. It's a huge difference happened. Okay, so he has said that we are a close friend of India, and he shouted out Jai Hind when that lorry reached there. Okay, and today we are also seeing about some other assistance which India had already done to Afghanistan, because it is a strategic position for us. If we have to reach the rest of the north-south corridor, we need Afghanistan, because if Pakistan is going to block the route due to some reason, and particularly because of this China-Pakistan economic corridor, which we are skeptical over, because it is going to go through the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. So this could create a trouble very soon. So in that case, if we have to reach that very rich business region of north-south corridor, we need Afghanistan for that. So because of that, we are trying to have good relations with Afghanistan always. And one twist or trouble that created recently was it was handed over to Taliban, and we didn't know what was the next result. But today something has happened. We'll see what happens. Okay, and this Shakhtud Dam is in the Kabul River Basin. So map question is, maybe this could be it. It is on the Kabul River Basin. நம்ம ஏற்கனவே சொன்ன மாதிரி இன்னொரு டேம். ஸோ இதை பற்றி பார்த்தோன்னா இன்னொரு டேமை பற்றி பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கும். ஸோ சல்மா டேம், இட்ஸ் ஆல்சோ கால்ட் அஸ் இந்தியா ஆப்கானிஸ்தான் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப் டேம். டைரக்டாக காபூல்லேயே இருக்கும். அண்ட் மேஜர் ரிவர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஆப்கானிஸ்தான்: Kabul, Amudarya, Harirud, Helmand. And one more map question: Afghanistan is a landlocked country. When we see about any country, we have to see in that continent what are the landlocked countries. So as I told, In the last part of the class, we'll see all the rivers, all the landlocked countries, and the general data we'll see. Now we'll just go along with the current affairs. And what are the countries which are bordering this Afghanistan? Countries bordering Afghanistan. So mostly we don't need any mnemonics or anything for this because it is a very much a neighbor country to India. We'll try. It's easy to remember all the countries just by seeing the map. In case you forget, also you can use this mnemonic. Put in ICT. Actually, when Afghanistan was given to Taliban, put in ICU ன்னு சொல்லி இருந்திருக்கலாம். ஆனா அது நமக்கு mnemonic செட் ஆகாதனால put in ICT. Just to remember, that's all. This is not any idea, just to remember. ஏன்னா இப்படி ஒரு ஐடியா நம்ம வச்சுக்கலாம். Put in ICU ன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு பதிலா put in ICT ன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. It will give the list of countries which are bordering Afghanistan. And many times such questions have been asked. Countries bordering Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, நிறைய டைம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. So this, it's a news, so we have to know the borders of Afghanistan. Actually, it is too easy to know. The two countries which we have to remember is Tajikistan and China. So this we might confuse sometimes. இந்த ரெண்டு மட்டும் ஞாபகம் வச்சுட்டா அப்புறம் அந்த மேனிஸ்தான் கண்ட்ரிஸ், 3 மேனிஸ்தான் கண்ட்ரிஸ். இப்போ ஆப்கானிஸ்தானுக்கு நம்ம போறதுக்கு காரணமே ஈரானுக்கு ஆக்சஸ் வேணும்ன்றதுனால தான். ஆப்கானிஸ்தான் ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் பாகிஸ்தான்ஸ் பார்டர், தட்ஸ் ஆல். இது நம்ம வந்து நிமோனிக்ஸ்லாம் தேவையில்லை. யூ வில் நோ திஸ் ஜஸ்ட் இன் கேஸ். ஸோ விருங்கா நேஷனல் பார்க், வி saw it already. You remember? கொஞ்ச நேரம் முன்னாடி கூட பார்த்தோம். காங்கோ பற்றி பார்க்கும்போது பார்த்துருந்தோம். இந்த வால்கேனோக்காக பார்த்துருந்தோம். பட் சம் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் அபவுட் இட். இட் இஸ் ஆஃப்ரிக்காஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நேஷனல் பார்க். ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கொஸ்டினுக்கு தேவைப்படலாம். ஓகே, இட் இஸ் தேர் இன் நியூஸ், ஸோ இட் குட் பி ஆர் கொஸ்டின். It's a first national park and it is famous for mountain gorillas. Again, one more thing, Congo is again a landlocked country. Try to know this. Congo is a landlocked country. And if they ask, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And two important mountains in this national park, Nyaragongo, அதான் நம்ம கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி பார்த்தோம் வால்கேனோன்னு சொல்லிட்டு Nyaragongo, and another one is Nyamura Gira and Nyaragongo. Both these are mountains in this region. And this Virunga National Park is bordered by another national park called as Volcanoes National Park, which actually belongs to Rwanda. நம்ம ஏற்கனவே அந்த விருங்கா நேஷனல் பார்க்கும் போதே என்ன பார்த்தோம், கிட்டத்தட்ட ரவாண்டா பார்டர் கிட்ட இருந்துச்சு. அண்ட் பிகாஸ் இட் கண்டினியூஸ் வித் த வால்கேனோஸ் நேஷனல் பார்க் which actually goes to Rwanda. And then we have Rwenzori Mountains National Park, which is again at the border of Uganda and Congo. Uganda, a little bit Rwanda, எல்லாமே ஒரே இடத்துல இருக்கும் இல்லையா? ஸோ காங்கோக்கு உகாண்டாவுக்கு நடுவில் Rwenzori Mountains. So this also borders with Virunga National Park. Then you have Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is in Uganda. So all these are bordering this Virunga National Park. So definitely we have to know this. Okay. Next one, Farzad B gas field. So why it is in news? Because Iran, it was actually a nationalized gas field, but they have given it to private. Iran has given it to private, and so it started to create some skepticism. What are they going to do next? Okay, so that is why, and it is in Persian Gulf in Iran. Just now we saw another, what is that? Which one? The one which belongs to Saudi Arabia, which again on the Persian Gulf, and it is the largest oil field in சொல்லிருந்தோம். Okay, that one is oil field. Here you have a gas field which belongs to Iran, which is again on the Persian Gulf. This is a natural gas field. So you have two things about Persian Gulf. Both are related to energy, and one belongs to Saudi Arabia and one belongs to Iran. So Red Sea is in news because Iran's freighter ship, it was hit by Israel, which was in the Red Sea. So that's why Red Sea is in news. So Red Sea, it splits Africa and Asia, whole of Africa and whole of Asia, it splits into two. And on the eastern side, you have Saudi Arabia and Yemen. See here, you have Saudi Arabia and Yemen. And on the western side, you have, because no one will forget Egypt and Red Sea. Okay, that everyone knows. Egypt is there. So then you have Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti. Okay. So why is the river red? Because it's very hot. Hot தமிழ்ல சொன்னா சூடா இருக்கு. அது ஏன் சூடா இருக்குன்னா எரிஞ்சு போச்சு. Okay. So இப்படி தான் நான் வச்சுக்கிறோம். Okay. So Djibouti alone. So if you know about Djibouti, always remember Ethiopia is very much near to it. Djibouti பக்கத்துல எத்தியோப்பியா இருக்கும். எதனால? Djibouti வந்துட்டு நேவல் பேஸா யூஸ் பண்ண சைனா ட்ரை பண்ண, they used it. So immediately what India did, they started to have, immediately Indian Prime Minister visited Ethiopia. They said we are friends forever. Why? Because when China is going to have an influence in Djibouti, India should have influence somewhere nearby. So we are trying to have influence and friendship relations with Ethiopia. Okay, this is an extra information. You have Djibouti as a border, you will always have Ethiopia. Try to remember this. Okay, and this Red Sea, it is laying on top of something called as Red Sea Rift. Okay, which is actually an extension or part of this Great Rift Valley of Africa, the longest or the largest rift valley in the world னு சொல்லி சொல்லுவோம் பாத்தீங்களா, ஆப்பிரிக்கா ரிஃப்ட் வேலி, அதோட எக்ஸ்டென்ஷன் தான் வந்துட்டு ரெட் சி ரிஃப்ட். அது மேல தான் ரெட் சி இருந்துட்டு இருக்கு. And the other water borders of Red Sea, land borders பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா. So water borders, you have Sinai Peninsula to on the northern side of Sinai Peninsula, Gulf of Aqaba and Gulf of Suez or Suez Canal, but actually it is Gulf of Suez. And south you have Gulf of Aden. South you have Gulf of Aden. So try to know all this, because certain things like Red Sea, Mediterranean Sea and all, they are repeated questions. Always they are repeated questions. But we try to learn all the countries around. அப்படி பண்றது ஒரு பக்கம். But apart from that, when they are in the current affair, definitely we have to know them. So Red Sea is on the current affair for like 2 or 3 times this year. We have to know each and every, the land boundaries, marine boundaries, everything you have to know. And Red Sea, it will be connected to the Mediterranean Sea through this Suez Canal. We already know this, right? The borders of Red Sea. So there's a small mnemonic for this. Okay, so Red Sea, the countries which are around Red Sea, it will be called as DESI. And see here, definitely yes வந்துட்டு ஆப்பிரிக்கா பத்தி பேசினாலும் சொமாலியான்னு யோசிக்க வேண்டாம். ஏன்னா அதுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன க்ளூ சொல்லியிருந்தேன், ரெட்டா இருக்கிற காரணமே சூடா இருக்கிறது அப்படின்னு. ஸோ டெஃபினெட்லி இட் சூடான். அண்ட் ஒன் மோர் திங், திஸ் E stands for Eritrea, and but as well Egypt is also there, because the mnemonic was not forming properly with Egypt also. But Egypt, which since we know for sure, doubt இல்லை, அதனால இதுல mnemonicல போடல. ஸோ டெசி ஞாபகம் வச்சிட்டீங்கன்னு சொன்னா இட் இஸ் இன் ரெட் சி. ஓகே, ரெட் சி, டெசி. ஓகே, ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கும். Next one is Sahel region. The region nearby Sahara is called as Sahel region. Okay, and here in this Sahel region, they have started something called as Great Green Wall Initiative. That is to stop or to curb the extension of Sahara Desert. That is United Nations desertification, to combat desertification 1994 onu போட்டுருவோம் பாத்தீங்களா, something related to that. This Sahel region, but for us the question could be where it is there, which countries it occupies. So what it is, இந்த மாதிரி தான் maximum வர முடியும். So it is between the Sahara to the north and the savannas to the south. ரெண்டுக்கு நடுவுல. See the countries which are connecting here: Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Sudan, Chad, Nigeria, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Mauritania. All these countries come under this Sahel region. This is what a question could be. Map question இப்படி தான் இருக்கு, chances இருக்கு. ஒரு list of countries கொடுத்துட்டு which belong to Sahel region அப்படின்னு கேட்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. This since it's everything's there in the map, I didn't write it down again, so you can see it from the map itself. Okay. See, this one shows little more properly. And details, the next details include, it has the Ferlo Nord Wildlife Sanctuary. It has the Ferlo Nord Wildlife Sanctuary in Senegal. Then you have a faunal reserve in Burkina Faso. These two things. One is in Senegal you have a wildlife reserve, and in Burkina Faso you have a faunal reserve. So adula the question now, probably which are the states in Sahel region, the most probable question. Next one is Carmichael project, very famous current affair. Adani have taken that region for coal production, and people are protesting there against this project. So definitely geography wise we might have some questions. They might ask which part of Australia or which region of Australia, whether it's in the Melbourne region or the Western region or Adelaide region, and actually it is near to Queensland. Okay, it's near to Queensland in a place called Galilee Basin. In a place called Galilee Basin, here you have this Carmichael mine. And this Galilee Basin, why they are doing the mining there? Because it is known to have vast amount of coal basin there. And this is called as one of the largest coal investments on coal, world's largest coal investment. And since this detail is there, we have to definitely know what is around Australia, the important sea regions around Australia, and how the question could be mostly, they might ask you to arrange the seas: Timor Sea, Arafura Sea, Gulf of Carpentaria, then you have the Torres Strait, then Coral Sea. Like this, they might ask you to arrange from west to east. So this is how the probably question comes in geography map questions. So try to know this, try to arrange them. So that last one is Tasman Sea. Tasman Sea, already it was asked in prelims, do you remember? Tasman Sea. So again, when we checked why Tasman Sea was asked, there was some current affair which was not at all directly relating to Tasman Sea actually, which was actually talking about New Zealand. But since Tasman Sea is near to New Zealand, they asked this. So these questions are possible. Then you have the Bass Strait, which connects Australia to Tasmania. Tasmania and Australia, Naduli, you have this Bass Strait, and which connects Pacific Ocean and the Southern Ocean. So Bass Strait connects Southern Ocean and Pacific Ocean and Australia and Tasmania. You have to know this strait, because these straits and all we don't come across very frequently. We might forget, but straits are very important for map questions. And then you have this Torres Strait at the top, near that peninsula. You have the Torres Strait, which connects Australia and the Melanesian island. It's completely different country. It connects the Melanesian island of New Guinea. And on the marine side, Torres Strait connects two water bodies. One is Arafura Sea and the Coral Sea. See, here you have the Coral Sea, here you have the Arafura Sea, and both is connected by Torres Strait. Okay, so just use the slide to have a look into it and try to remember everything. These two things, Bass Strait and Torres Strait, you will remember. It's just by this class you'll remember. But the rest of the water bodies, to arrange them from west to east, you have to try, sit and write it down and learn. Next is Great Barrier Reef. Again, Great Barrier Reef is in news. So since we are going to talk about the reef, one more information. Indonesia actually has the largest coral reef area in the world. So because we know this Great Barrier Reef is the longest barrier reef. So அதை வச்சு நம்ம இப்படி தப்பா போட சான்சஸ் இருக்கு. Actually the largest area for coral reef is with Indonesia and not with Australia. Try to know this. And as far as South Asia is considered, India, Maldives, Sri Lanka and Chagos, these are the places which have maximum coral reefs. India, Maldives, Sri Lanka and Chagos. Okay. And this Great Barrier Reef, why is it in news now? Because UNESCO has called this as the Endangered World Heritage Site. Among the heritage sites, this one is called as Endangered World Heritage Sites. So in which sea it is? It is on the Coral Sea to the east coast of Queensland, and exactly nearby Queensland is what we saw about this coal mining also. Okay, so that is why it is in news. And this Great Barrier Reef, it is larger than the Great Wall of China, and it is bigger than Italy also. So huge it is. Okay, and now it is in danger, and the color is changing. It was colorful, now it's changing to white because of coral bleaching. Next, Ukraine, because of the conflict, it's in news. Okay, and this all the details we know. So this key, where it is by the banks of Dnieper River. This alone you have to know. This river alone you have to try and know. And then it is separated from Russia by this Kerch Strait. A small strait is there. From the Kerch Strait is what it separates from Russia. Yeah. Now it's under Russian control. Yes. From 2014, since 2014, it is under Russian control. And apart from that, you can see this Kerch Strait. It connects these two water bodies also, Sea of Azov and Black Sea. See here, you have Sea of Azov, you have Black Sea. These two are also connected by Kerch Strait. See, this one, they are not going to ask whether it connects Ukraine and Russia, because it is conflicted. It is now Crimea is under the control of Russia. But where the question could come is from here. It connects Sea of Azov and Black Sea. That you have to definitely know. And this Dnieper River, such questions are very famous for UPSC, where it flows through, particularly when it flows from one country to another country. Dnieper River, it flows from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, then goes to Black Sea. So the question could be like, which countries this Dnieper River passes through? Russia, Belarus, then Ukraine. And it falls into, at last, the Black Sea. And this was the question like we had it today, right? Luhansk and Donetsk, which region it belongs to. And now it has been declared as independent. And try to know the boundary countries of Ukraine also. And there are two important mountains here. One is Carpathian Mountains, another one is Haverla Mountains. You have something called as Haverla Mountains. So this is having such a huge conflict, we have to know everything. Mount Haverla is there, and Mount Carpathian is also there in Ukraine. And the borders, you have Belarus to the north, no doubt, because that is the country which borders both. That is why they had the peace talks there in Belarus. No one is going to forget. Russia, there's nothing to remember about Russia. It is of course the border. And to the south you have Sea of Azov and Black Sea. This is the one thing you have to remember. So rendume irukkan doubt varala, you have to remember. Then Moldova and Romania, because if we say Ukraine is the last border to from Europe, if you see the next where it starts Russia is Ukraine, another one is Romania. We will have a small clue story for this sometimes, how to remember. See, there are three huge empires which tried to invade Russia and failed at last because of their scorched earth policy. The first one was Rome started to decline once they had an idea of invading Russia. So Roman people, they never invaded Russia at last. So Romans, they came up to Rome here. They called this place as Romania, and after that they did not go. From there, Russia starts. This is not the real story. Just for to remember that Romania is the border of Russia. Just to remember, that's all. So so of course it means that Romania is going to be the border of Ukraine also. Okay. Then you have Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland. All these are boundaries of Ukraine. You have to try see the map also. Try to remember it as much as possible. Okay, so how to remember Poland particularly? See, Poland, it was during World War time. It was to be tried to be captured by Hitler. On the other hand, Russia wanted to capture Poland so that it will become part of USSR. So definitely we know that it is nearby Russia. Poland is nearby Russia, and this Poland, this is the region which on one side Hitler wanted to conquer, on the other side Russia also wanted it. So definitely Poland is going to be part of Ukraine, because now Ukraine is different. Earlier it was part of USSR, right? Before 1991. So definitely Poland is going to be part of Ukraine. Just by the stories we know, we can remember it. ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு மனப்பாடம் பண்ணணும்லாம் அவசியம் இல்லை, தெரிஞ்சதை வச்சே we can remember. And if we have Poland, Hitler wanted Poland. Germany is here. Towards the west is Poland, towards the east is France. He wanted both. And to the south he wanted what? Czechoslovakia. So the Austro-Hungarian Empire was there. So he wanted Czechoslovakia. Later on, Czechoslovakia got split into Czech on the west and Slovakia on the east. So that is why Slovakia will be on the east towards Ukraine. So that also you can use to remember. Okay. So try to use the stories you already know and then remember this, so you will not forget. Okay. Next is Saree Chu River. In conflict, in news, because China has built a village there on the banks of this river in Arunachal Pradesh. So this is a tributary of Subansiri. It's a tributary of Subansiri. Where it meets Subansiri, the place is called Gelenshiniak. Okay, in Gelenshiniak, this Saree Chu River meets Subansiri. Subansiri is the right bank or left bank tributary of Brahmaputra, right or left? Right bank tributary. So we had a clue. One is Subansiri, other one is Dhansri. Okay. எப்பவுமே சுபம்னா எப்படி சொல்லுவோம்? சுபம் ரைட்ல தான் சொல்லுவோம். So it is Subansiri will be the right. Okay. Dhanamna, money is supposed to be at the left. அதனால தான் பாக்கெட்டா லெஃப்ட்ல வைப்பாங்க ஒரு ஸ்டோரியில சொல்லுவாங்க. Dhana is money. Money should be at the left. Dhanasri is left. Shubham is to the right. So Shubhasri right, Dhanasri left. This is a tributary of Brahmaputra. And to Shubhasri you have this Saree Chu River. And there in the banks of this river, Arunachal Pradesh, China has built a village. So that is why it is in news. Okay. And it is very close to the Bumla Pass. So from this you try to remember Bumla Pass is in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. So in this slide, one thing to know is, where does Subansiri originate? It is Mount Poran in Tibet. Subansiri originates in Mount Poran in Tibet. Try to remember this. And some more details. Subansiri is also called as the Gold River because of that color, which it looks like in golden yellowish color. Okay. And then it is the largest tributary of Brahmaputra. And the states is through which it flows, Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. So these are all Pakka geography map questions. And about India, they from China they built a village, right? And already India has built a bridge. That bridge is called Daporijo Bridge. Daporijo Bridge in River Subansiri. India has built Daporijo Bridge. China has built a village. Yeah. Arunachal Pradesh. Next is Darfur region. Darfur region. This is again one more, இது ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸான ஒரு விஷயம், நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரிஞ்சது. Because of the conflict between South Sudan and Sudan. ரொம்ப நாள் போயிட்டு இருக்க conflict. So many people have died there in the war. So it's a conflict between South Sudan and Sudan. And Darfur region is to the west of Sudan and it has boundary with South Sudan. Then that is the problem here. Okay. And geography map related question, the Mara Mountains is in this Darfur region. Mara Mountains is in this Darfur region. And then you have capital of Sudan, which is Khartoum. Khartoum is famous for these two Niles will join together, and from there the Nile will start. Blue Nile and White Nile will join in Khartoum, and from there it will start as Nile. So this is famous for that. Okay, these are the boundary countries for Sudan. So many boundaries. See, you have to see the map and try and remember. I tried as much as possible. I didn't get it. That's why. See, we don't create mnemonics just as we like. It should be already there. Within there, the story should be there. Only then we create a mnemonic. இல்லனா அந்த mnemonic ஞாபகம் வைக்கிறதுக்கு அதுக்கு தனியா படிக்கணும். அது தொல்லை. So it's mostly better to avoid mnemonics. It's better to know through the stories that we know, from the current affairs that we know. That is the best way to remember map questions. Not the mnemonics, you will have to remember the mnemonics again. Okay, next one. And in the Sudan, to the east of Sudan, we have the Red Sea. Then you have something called as Lake Nubia here, that you have to know. Here you have the Lake Nubia. In Iran, you have the Lake Nubia. Sorry, in Sudan, you have Lake Nubia. And here, this information I already told you. Blue Nile and White Nile join together in Khartoum, and from there it starts as Nile. So one important information you have to know here is Lake Nubia, because it is there in the news. Normally, if any country is there in the news, they might ask the lake which is there. And now that lake itself is there in the current affairs. So you have to know about Lake Nubia. It is in Sudan. Next, you have about Yemen crisis. So these countries, which it's very normally everyone knows where is Yemen and where is Oman. In the exam time also, if at all you forget, so how we remember is Saudi Arabia to look like a boot. Okay, like this it will look. It will look like a boot. Okay, பூட்டை போட்டு யாரை கீழே இருக்கல மிதிச்சிட்டாங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். மிதிச்சோன்னா என்னன்னு கேட்பேன், ஏ மேன் கூப்பிடுவான், இன்னொருத்தன் ஓ மேன் சொல்லுவான். ஸோ தட் இஸ் ஏ மேன் அண்ட் ஓ மேன். பூட்டை போட்டு மிதிச்சேன். ஓகே, தட் இஸ் ஏ மேன் அண்ட் ஓ மேன். ஸோ ஃப்ரம் ஹியர், and when you have that boot and we know where that boot is, this is how that boot starts, right? You will, when we draw Africa, we draw Africa like this. Here you go, you draw the boot, right? So definitely, if you have the two countries here, you have a small water body. Then that case, there's going to be a strait there. Then you have Africa. So then this empty thing, you have to know what is that empty thing. It's going to be Red Sea. So இதெல்லாம் தானாவே ஞாபகம் வர ஆரம்பிச்சிரும் ஒண்ணுன்னா. Okay. So capital of Yemen is Sana'a. We know that mostly. And it has maritime boundaries with, see, just below that Yemen you have Africa, right? Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa lo ella countries mein Djibouti, Eritrea and Somalia. Djibouti, Eritrea and Somalia are the maritime boundaries of Yemen. And these things, try to know these things a little bit. And they are because the crisis is all about the membership and whether they are going to remove the membership. News அதை பத்தி தான் இருக்கறனால we have to know and they are the members of which things. Like Gulf Cooperation Council அவங்க இருக்க முடியாது. ஏன்னா see here they are not in the Gulf. Gulf is to the north. Oman will be in the Gulf, but Yemen is not there in the Gulf. So Yemen is not there in the Gulf Cooperation Council. But they are in the Arab League and then Organization of Islamic Cooperation. These two you have to remember. And there are some islands in the Red Sea which belong to Yemen. In Red Sea, they are Hanish Islands, Kamaran Islands, and Perim. These three are on the Red Sea. And Socotra Islands, it is there in the Arabian Sea. Socotra Islands, it is there in the news. And it belongs to Yemen. And there are many such questions. ஒரு தடவை இந்த சார்டினியா கேட்டாங்க தெரியுமா, இட் பிலாங்ஸ் டு விச் கண்ட்ரி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு யூபிஎஸ்சி ப்ரிலிம்ஸ்ல கேட்டாங்க, ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி எங்கேயாவது ஒரு ஐலாண்ட் இருந்துட்டு அந்த ஐலாண்ட் வந்து ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் கண்ட்ரி பொலிட்டிக்கலா அவங்க கண்ட்ரோல்ல இருந்துச்சுன்னா நிறைய டைம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. ஸோ இந்த ஐலாண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாமே ஏமனுக்கு சொந்தமானது. யூ ஹேவ் டு நோ தீஸ் ஐலாண்ட்ஸ். அண்ட் ஒன் இஸ் தேர் இன் அரேபியன் சி டைரக்ட்லி, அதர்ஸ் ஆர் தேர் இன் த ரெட் சி. ஓகே, உங்களுக்கு பிரேக் கூட சொன்னாங்களே 6:30க்கு. அடடே மறந்துட்டேனே. யூ வாண்ட் பிரேக்? ஓகே, ஒரு 5 minutes பிரேக் எடுத்து. Class will go until only 7:30, not beyond that. Okay. So I was supposed to give break for you at 6:30. I forgot. Anyway, 5 minutes முடிச்சிட்டாங்க. We'll finish the class at 7:30. Yeah, சொல்லுங்க.
International Hydrographic Union வந்து இன்னும் Southern Ocean வந்து recognize பண்ணாங்க.
Okay.
So last week வந்து Southern Ocean separate.
Maybe in the question they can ask us Antarctic Ocean also, whatever it is. Name might differ. Yeah, but in books it is mentioned. In newspaper they mention it as Southern Ocean. So whether they are mentioned officially, they are mentioning it in newspapers, in articles they are mentioning it as Southern Ocean, right? So there is chance that such question could come. It's better to know. ஆஃப் பண்ணவா? ஆ we'll start. Okay, and one more thing, see, depending on how much we finish the map class here, next Sunday we might have the second part of the map class, or there are 2 more classes also planned, particularly for those who are going to give the exam this year. Okay, one is for comprehension part, English comprehension part. நிறைய பேர் அதை கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ட்ரகிள் ஆகுறாங்க, அதை ஃபேஸ் பண்ண கஷ்டமா இருக்குன்னு சொல்றாங்க. ஸோ அது ஒன்று. அப்புறம் ஒன் மோர், quantitative aptitude for CSAT, just to face the CSAT, because we need just that 33% of mark just to qualify, that's all, right? For that also we are planning for like 2 or 3 classes in a stretch to directly face the CSAT, complete பண்ண 33% தாண்ட அளவுக்கு இருக்கிற அளவுக்கு மாதிரி. ஓகேங்களா? So we'll see how it happens. Okay, so we'll start now. Next is about Turkey. So it's there in news because sea snot outbreak in Turkey, that is one thing. And next one is Hagia Sophia Museum. Okay, so this museum, it has been it's going to be converted into a mosque now. Okay, so it was in Istanbul, it's going to be converted to a mosque. So that is why, so these 2 news is there, so we have to know about Turkey a little bit. Actually this was, sorry, yeah, okay, so this one, actually this particular building, it was for some time it was a church, then later it was a mosque. So there was a conflict in this, and so in 1934 Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, so he converted this into a secular building. So no trouble hereafter, let it be a secular building. Now again it's going to be converted into a mosque, so it's creating trouble because of that. And this one, it is already a World Heritage Site. And this Turkey, we know it is between Asia and Europe. It's a transcontinental country. Ankara is the capital. Know all these details because Turkey is in news for more than 2 reasons. And the bordering countries. And one more thing, this Turkey, it is placed in a region called Anatolia region. And the whole region is called as Anatolia region. And within that region, Turkey is present. Try to know this name as well. To remember the eastern side, it's really easy because Georgia and Armenia already they are in conflict towards Armenia is towards Europe region. So here you have Armenia and Georgia, and this was Georgia and Turkey were somewhere in news. We know that. And apart from this, Iraq, Iran, Syria, everyone knows because this whole thing, this together, it was under the Ottoman Empire. So Ottoman Empire, we talk about Iraq. And one more thing, when we talk about Mesopotamian civilization, Iraq and Iran patti pesuvom. So idella vache நம்ம வந்து Turkey கூட Iraq, Iran, Syria மூணு border ஈஸியா சொல்லிரலாம். The western side மட்டும் you should be a little bit careful. Okay, to the north you have Black Sea. So that alone you have to be a little bit careful. And one more thing, Mediterranean Sea is also bordering Turkey. And then 2 countries which we might miss are Greece and Bulgaria. Greece you will never forget because நம்ம 300 ஸ்பார்டன்ஸ் மூவில வந்து கிரீஸும் இவங்கள தான் மோதிப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதனால பவுண்டரிஸ் அதனால தான் மோதுறாங்க. ஸோ அதனால அதை மறக்க சான்ஸ் இருக்காது உங்களுக்கு. கிரீஸ் இஸ் ஆஃப் கோர்ஸ் த பார்டர் ஃபார் டர்க்கி. ஓகே. And whether Azerbaijan is the border? Yes, Azerbaijan also, not just Armenia. Azerbaijan is also a border. Okay, so try to remember this. Expected sort of question for prelims, this one, borders of Turkey. Okay, ஏன்னா கான்ஃப்ளிக்டே பார்டர்ஸ் தான், அதனால கண்டிப்பா கொஸ்டின் வர சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. ரிமெம்பர் இட். And see, if Turkey is called as this transcontinental, the another one country nearby which is called transcontinental is Georgia. Georgia is the one who, again, it shares between Asia and Europe. So if you know Turkey, you should talk about Georgia. So Georgia, there's no doubt that Georgia is again a border. So certain countries you know, like without fail they are borders. Others you have to learn it a little bit. That's all. And the rivers, Tigris, Euphrates, we know this already. Turkey, Tigris, Euphrates, we know this. The other 2 rivers are Kizilmark and Sakarya. You have to this one you have to remember. And then important part, Asian Turkey is separated from European Turkey by 3 things. One is Strait of Bosphorus, over here a small Strait of Bosphorus, Sea of Marmara, and Dardanelles Strait. All these are separating Eastern Europe and Eastern Turkey and Western Turkey, or Asian Turkey and European Turkey. 3 things: Bosphorus, Sea of Marmara, and Dardanelles. Try to remember this. And this one, Turkey, of course, borders with this Aegean Sea. Aegean Sea, this name itself, it is a Greek name, Aegean Sea. So நம்ம அதே மாதிரி இந்த படத்துல செகண்ட் பார்ட் படத்துல ஷிப் எல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு டர்க்கி கூட ஃபைட் பண்ண வருவாங்க தெரியுமா, அதை வந்து இந்த Aegean Sea-ல தான் வந்திருப்பாங்க. So that also, from that movie you can remember all these things. And one more thing, extra information, map questions நம்ம ஸ்டேட்மென்ட்ல கேக்குறதுக்கு, Kurds are the largest minority in Turkey. And Kurds are also in news for the last 3 to 4 years, continuous news. So Kurds are the largest minority of Turkey. And this is just for the safety, because what are the mountains of Turkey? Because there was one such question already asked in prelims where Turkey is between which 2 mountains in ஒரு லிஸ்ட் கொடுத்து கேட்டிருந்தாங்க ஒரு தடவை. So just for safety, we'll try to remember that it was there in 2014 question paper. Turkey is located between Mount Arat, Mount Sufan, Mount Kakardagi அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு 2014ல ஒரு question கேட்டிருந்திருக்காங்க. So Turkey is in news. So whenever any country is in news, we are supposed to know the rivers, the straits, the bordering countries, and any specific physical features in that country like mountains, in the mari edavadhu ranges are there. So this one you will see, just take a look at this and try to remember the mountains around and mountains within Turkey. Okay. Next one, Tristan D Cunha. Tristan D Cunha. So why is it in news? Because it has been declared as the largest fully protected marine reserve. Largest fully protected marine reserve. So this is in the Atlantic Ocean. And this is specific because it is special enana, only 3 species are there in this whole island. One is Filica, Arborea, and the island tree. The 3 மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு, வேற எதுவுமே இல்ல. So அதனால you have to know this. And it is between Africa, America, and the nearby island is Saint Helena. Saint Helena is one of the islands in this huge mountain range. From Iceland ஆரம்பிச்சு கீழ டாவோ வரைக்கும் போகும் பாத்தீங்களா, அந்த whole mountain range ல Saint Helena is one of the volcanic mountains, right? So அதுக்கு மூணுக்கு ஜங்ஷன்ல you have this Tristan D Cunha. And might be they could sometimes ask also that this is part of the Atlantic Ridge, Great Atlantic Ridge. இந்த மாதிரி ஏதோ ஒன்று கேட்கறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. So it is yes. So this whole Tristan archipelago, it has 4 islands. Together it has 4 islands: Tristan D Cunha Island, Nightingale Island, Inaccessible Island, and Gau Island. So this whole Tristan D Cunha is part of the archipelago. It has 4 islands. Others are Nightingale, Inaccessible Island, and Gau Island. Okay, and it is a British overseas territory. Again, France or territory, Portuguese territory, British, these are famous questions. It is a part of British territory, but something very specific here is they have their own constitution. Though it is a territory of Britain, but they have their own constitution. They can sometimes ask, it belongs to French, it belongs to Britain, அந்த மாதிரி sometimes கேட்குறாங்க. பேர் வேற குன்ஹான்னு இருக்கு, நம்ம அதை பார்த்துட்டு போர்ச்சுகீஸ்னு போட்டு வச்சிருவோம். அதனால பேரை பார்த்து ஏமாந்துருவோம். So it's actually a British overseas territory. Next one, Sulawesi Island. எப்பெல்லாம் கரண்ட் அஃபேர் இருக்கோ அப்பெல்லாம் இவர் இருப்பார். எப்போ ஒன்று எர்த்குவேக் நடக்கும், இல்லைனா வால்கேனோ எரப்ஷன் நடக்கும், ரெண்டுல ஏதோ ஒன்று நடக்கும், இல்லைனா எதுவுமே நடக்கலாம், லேண்ட்ஸ்லைடாவது நடக்கும், ஏதாவது நடந்துருவாங்க. ஓகே, because it is at such a like strategic point between tectonic plates. Okay, it is in that Pacific ring of fire. And this time why it is in news? Because it has the oldest rock paintings, some 45,000 years old rock paintings have been discovered. So that is why this is in news this time. See here, so we will try and get the geography of this region because it's continuously on news. Sometimes we can get a question. It is east of Borneo. So I'm telling Borneo, but in the map it is being said as Kalimantan. So because Kalimantan is part of eastern part of Borneo, so that is why here I have kept it as Kalimantan. Both are same. Borneo and Kalimantan are same. It is between Kalimantan on one side and Maluku Islands on one side. So in between. Okay, in between you have Sulawesi Islands, and between Kalimantan and Sulawesi you have a small strait called a Strait of Makassar. You have Strait of Makassar here. So the strait is important here. Next one, Liang Sakapo Caves. This is the cave in Sulawesi Islands, so which is said to be the oldest rock paintings. So sometimes they could get a little bit deeper and ask that directly the cave. And it also has the world's oldest hand stencil. Hand stencil அப்படி கையில் ஏதாவது பெயிண்டை தொட்டு அப்படி அமுத்தி வச்சிருது, கை அமுத்தி அமுத்தி வச்சிருது. So this is called hand stencil. This is the oldest hand stencil is also here. And a nearby cave in Sulawesi itself, you have the world's oldest depiction of any animal. So world's oldest depiction of animal, world's oldest rock painting, world's oldest hand stencil, everything is found in this Sulawesi Island. Okay. Next one, El Salvador. நம்ம எங்க கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம் எல் சால்வடார் பத்தி? நம்ம கேஜிஎஃப் படத்துல கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம். அங்கதான் எல் சால்வடார் பத்தி நம்ம கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம். அங்க வந்துட்டு என்ன பண்ணிருப்பாங்க, அந்த கோல்டு பத்தி எல்லாம் அங்க எல்லாம் போவாங்க. அப்படி ஒரு எல் சால்வடார் இந்தியாலையும் இருக்கு அப்படி சொல்லி நம்ம கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம்ல. ஸோ அந்த எல் சால்வடார் பத்தி இங்க ஒரு நியூஸ் இருக்கு. இங்கேயும் பாத்தீங்கன்னா அகெயின் இட் சம்திங் ரிலேட்டட் டு ஹியூஜ் மைனிங், கோல்டு மைன், அந்த மாதிரி டைப் ஆஃப். அங்க கோல்டு மைனிங், இங்க பிட்காயின் மைனிங். both are same. Okay, concept ரெண்டு சேம் தான். ஓகே, அகைன் எல் சால்வடார்ல தான் அந்த கோல்டுக்காக எல்லாரும் போய் புதையல் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி ஓடுனாங்க. இப்போ பிட்காயின் புதையல் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி அதே ஊருக்கு ஓடி இருக்காங்க எல்லாரும். ஸோ சேம் கான்செப்ட், டோன்ட் ஃபர்கெட் இட். ஸோ த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் country in the world to make bitcoin legal. And this region, so this where is El Salvador? So இப்போ நம்ம தெரியாத ஒரு கண்ட்ரி தான். இப்போ ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னா, we have to know everything about it. It's between Mexico and South America. It's between, see here, El Salvador is here. It is between Mexico on one side and South America on the other side. It is at the Central American countries. Next is La Sapphire volcano. So why it's in news? Because from this volcano, from such a huge distance, the sulfur dioxide emissions have reached India. So that is why this is in news here. So that means it is a world geographical news related to India. So it means that it's going to be too important for us. It's in the Caribbean islands. Okay, in the region of Grenadines. Grenadines is the kutti islands irukku nariya. Andha தான் Grenadines region sollu. This whole region is called Grenadines region. See here, this whole region is called Grenadines region. And between that and this Saint Vincent Island, okay, in this region you have this La Sapphire volcano. And this La Sapphire volcano, it is the highest peak in Saint Vincent Island. So we have this in the Saint Vincent Island and this Grenadines in the region la irukum. This is the tallest or the highest peak in Saint Vincent Island in the Caribbean region. And it's also the youngest volcano in this island. And it is in the Caribbean plate. So most probable question will be this one. In which plate it belongs to? Caribbean plate. Another probable question is which island it belongs to. So or directly a conventional question like where is Grenadian Island or where is Saint Vincent Island? இந்த மாதிரி in which ocean it is? இந்த மாதிரி கேட்கறதுக்கு நிறைய சான்ஸ் இருக்கு. And since it is there on the Caribbean plate, we have to know a little bit about the Caribbean plate also. So this Caribbean plate, it will be bordering different plates. See, it will be bordering Nazca plate, Caucasus plate, and South American plate. This எல்லாத்தையும் border பண்ணிட்டு at the center you will have this Caribbean plate. So sometimes they might ask which are the plates that this Caribbean plates border. Already minor plates have been asked in UPSC. Major plates we all of us know, so they won't ask there. Minor plates are known to be asked in UPSC questions, but it is not possible to learn all the minor plates. Only those in current affairs we know, and that here you have to know this. Nazca plate, Caucasus plate, American plate, and South American plate. All these plates are bordered with Caribbean plate. Okay. Next about Gambia. Because this is again an important question, because we are trying to have good relations with Africa to counter China, trying to have good relations with other geopolitical relations with other countries, and one such important country is Africa. Okay, so that is why African Union leaders came and visited India. Idella another inch already. So one such another specific country. One is Ethiopia, of course. Always Ethiopia is a very good friend of India, considered to be. And the other one now it is Gambia. We have directly signed a memorandum of understanding with Gambia. So definitely we have to know this. It is in West Africa. Capital is Banjul. So sometimes capitals are asked. Try to. So in today's the whole class today we have seen some 4 or 5 capitals of country. That's all. And the 5 capitals you can easily learn. Okay. Probably questions will come just from there. And you have this river Gambia flowing at the center of the country Gambia, and to the all the sides it is completely surrounded by Senegal, except on one side which is Atlantic Ocean. But so this one country it is completely surrounded by Senegal. Only on one side you have Atlantic Ocean. That's all. And one more special information is Gambia is the 3rd largest trading partner. Gambia is the 3rd largest trading partner with India. And one more thing, India is the 2nd largest destination for Gambian exports. The 2nd most amount of export they are doing to India. Okay, so much relationship is there with Gambia and India. So we have to know almost each and every detail about Gambia. So for Gambia, their first trading partner is China. Second trading partner, who could be the second trading partner? Simply map பார்த்து சொன்னா Senegal. சுத்தி அதான் இருக்குது. அங்க தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அவங்க ட்ரேட் பண்ணி ஆகணும். So the second one is Senegal, third is Gambia. Sorry. Third is India. And for as far as export is considered, the 2nd largest destination is India. So such good relations are there with Gambia. We have to know so about Gambia. So this could be like not so important. இவ்வளோ தூரமா இவ்வளோ டீப்பா கேட்பாங்கன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. But anyway, note Gambia River originates from Fata Jalan Plateau. Sometimes rivers பத்தி நியூஸ் இருந்தாலே where it originates ன்னு சொல்லி sometimes கேட்குறாங்க. It originates from Fata Jalan Plateau. Just it's good to know. And one more thing, the whole West Africa is in news, crucially in news. Okay, so you have to know all the West African countries, the borders of each and every West African country. You should know it. We'll try to cover such basic details in the next part 2 class. Okay, we'll all the borders of the West African countries, South African, all the European countries. அதெல்லாம் அந்த கிளாஸ்ல ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். Okay, now Chusul Valley. கொஞ்ச நேரம் முன்னாடி நம்ம பேசிட்டு இருந்த அதே சேம் எக்ஸ்டென்ஷன் ஆஃப் another news in that same region. So you see, even in the last year, we were expecting questions from this region, and questions came from this region. So it's too important. We have to know completely about these regions. It is nearby to Rezangla and Pangong Lake. Chusul Valley is nearby to Rezangla and Pangong Lake. Pangong Lake, இது எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும் Pangong Lake பக்கத்துல இருக்கு. So one information you have to know is it's nearby to Rezangla Pass. Rezangla Pass is in, maybe they could ask directly, where is Rezangla Pass? It is in Ladakh. That also we have to know. See here, where is Chusul? Just sticking to the line of actual control. It's really so important there. Next, about South China Sea. We'll finish in 1 or 2 topics, because this one, like, it's not about hours. If it's any other normal conventional subject, we can go even for 3 hours. This one, it is like giving new data, putting data into your head. It's giving too much of data. You'll feel tired. Now even if I don't finish everything completely, maybe you can read from the PPT also some 1 or 2. But you shouldn't forget everything whatever I taught you. So we'll finish it in 1 or 2 topics. Okay. So, and we should have such classes in the morning, but since we have the test series in the morning, we can't. We are having it in the evening. Okay, most of, not only in our institute, most of the institutes have the test series in the morning. You can't skip the test. So that is why we have it in the evening. Okay, எல்லாம் அப்படியே பாதி மயக்கத்துல கிடக்காங்க. South China Sea. Okay. So one thing that is needed for this is what are the maritime boundaries. It is in contention. So Vietnam, Philippines, and then the important one is Luzon Strait. So the strait is the one which is important actually here, because how they will ask the question is there are various straits in the South China Sea, in that southeast region. So there they'll probably, the question could be like arrange the straits from west to east. That is how the question probably will be. So that type of question we have kept it for the next class. So general type of question, இது வந்து ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் கரண்ட் அஃபேர் மட்டும் இப்போ பார்க்கலாம். அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள்லாம் வந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல பார்த்தலாம். You will have to somehow know, try and arrange the these straits from west to east. Okay. So bordering countries for South China Sea, bordering countries for South China Sea. So definitely we will know China, Taiwan, and Philippines, no doubt about it, because these three are contending for that region. So China, Taiwan, and Philippines, that's okay. Rest of the countries, what we have to know is Malaysia. If Malaysia is there, definitely Singapore is going to be there, no doubt. Malaysia, Singapore, one piece of land. So definitely is going to be there. The other countries are Brunei, Indonesia. Brunei and Indonesia. Vietnam, no doubt. This is just here because they are contending nations. Vietnam, in the Philippines, Taiwan it is almost part of China, so no doubt about it. So Taiwan, these are all contending countries. We will definitely know. Other countries you try and remember: Brunei, Indonesia, all these countries. And one more thing, Brunei and Indonesia are almost like single country. எல்லாம் ஒரு archipelago. இப்போ கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி பார்த்தோம்ல, Bruneiயோட ஒரு பார்ட் தான் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா இந்தோனேஷியாவோட ஒட்டிட்டு இருக்கும். Okay. And try to know these details as part of map question. Parasail Islands, they are claimed by China, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Okay, Parasail Islands are claimed by China, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Spratly Islands are claimed by China, Taiwan, Vietnam, include two more, Brunei and Philippines. Brunei and Philippines. Why? Because Spratly is further south. Since it is further south, you have Philippines and Brunei also nearby. So that is why. So the main three countries are China, Taiwan, and Vietnam. So அதை கூட வேண்டாம், ரெண்டே ரெண்டு கண்ட்ரி நான் வச்சுக்கோங்க, China and Vietnam. Why? China, Taiwan ரெண்டு ஒரே சிங்கிள் கண்ட்ரி மாதிரி இருக்குது. அதை விட்டுட்டு அப்போ நம்ம ரெண்டு மொத்தத்தில் we have to remember only two countries, China and Vietnam. That's all. So since you come a little more south, Spratly is south. Okay, ஏன்னா sometimes they ask you to arrange it. அந்த நேரம் சொல்றது மறக்கும், மேல பராசல் இருக்கா கீழே ஸ்ப்ராட்லி இருக்கான்னு மறக்கும். எஸ் ஃபார் சவுத், கீழே சவுத்தில் வந்து ஸ்ப்ராட்லி தான் இருக்கு, மிச்சம் இருக்க ஒன்று வந்து மேலே நார்த்தில் பாராசைல் ஐலண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ கீழே சவுத் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா வரனால பக்கத்தில் அங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ப்ரூனை, இந்தோனேஷியா, மலேசியா எல்லாம் வந்துடும். ஸோ தே ஆர் ஆல்சோ கிளைமிங் ஃபார் இட். ஓகே. அண்ட் ஒன் மோர் திங், ஸ்கார்பரோ ஷோல் அப்படின்னு அந்த வாட்டர் பாடிஸ் அது. ஸ்கார்பரோ ஷோல், ஸ்கார்பரோ ஷோல் இஸ் கிளைம்டு பை Philippines, China, and Taiwan. Scarborough shoal, shoalna a water body that is called as shoal, SHOAL. So this is being claimed by Philippines, China, and Taiwan. Try to know this list of countries. Okay. Okay, last slide. We'll finish with Barbados. Okay. So Barbados, it is in the Caribbean Sea. One more place we saw in the Caribbean. Which one? கொஞ்சம் முன்னாடி பார்த்தோமே. ஊர் பேர் சொல்ல ட்ரை பண்ணுங்கப்பா. கொஞ்ச நேரம் முன்னாடி எது பார்த்தோம்? இப்போ ஒரு 3 or 4 ஸ்லைட்ஸ் முன்னாடி. சரி யோசிச்சுட்டு இருங்க. Yeah, we saw that it was Caribbean plate is there. It is bordered by other plates. எல்லாத்தையும் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? So try to remember one after the other. See, I actually wanted to put these slides one after the other. ஆனா அப்படி போட ஒரு சைடு தள்ளி போட்டா நீங்க கொஞ்சம் யோசிப்பீங்க முன்னாடி, இதே மாதிரி இன்னொன்று கரீபியன் பார்த்தமே கொஞ்சம் ரீகால் பண்ண உங்களுக்கு வசதியா இருக்கும்னு சொல்லி தான் ஒரு ஸ்லைடு விட்டு இன்னொரு கரீபியன், ஒரு ஸ்லைடு விட்டு இன்னொரு கரீபியன் அப்படி போயிருக்கேன். கொஞ்சம் யோசிக்கிறதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு ரீகால் பண்ண வசதியா இருக்கட்டும் தான். ஓகே. So when you even see the PPT also, so when you see something about Caribbean, then you try to remember ஒரு 2-3 ஸ்லைடு முன்னாடி இன்னொன்று என்னமோ பார்த்தோம், அது என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ரீகால் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க, அப்போ மறக்காம இருக்கும். So Barbados, it's also in the Caribbean region. Capital is Bridgetown, and try to remember the border countries. See, you have Barbados here, a small island, Barbados. Okay, So to the north, you have Saint Vincent. What is about Saint Vincent? Saint Vincent. We saw about that volcano right now in Saint Vincent. And to the south of Saint Vincent, we had that Grenadians set of islands was there. So to the south of Saint Vincent, you have this Barbados also. And to the west, you have Trinidad and Tobago. So try to know these regions. So இதுல என்ன சிம்பிளா என்ன தெரியுதுன்னா, Caribbean has been in use for like nearly 4 to 5 reasons. So know everything about the Caribbean, but it's too difficult to know everything because there are so many islands. Only at least only what is there in the current affairs, try to know about these islands. Okay. Haiti பத்தி பார்த்தோமா? Only land boundaries, Dominion Republic, rest is Cuba. இந்த இடத்துல நல்ல ஒரு passage was there, இதெல்லாம் பார்த்திருந்தோம் இல்லையா? Okay, RLC we'll see in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Try to revise. இல்லனா எல்லாம் அப்படியே காத்தோட மறந்துரும். Try to revise. Okay. Thank you.